Although Xiangpa had been eaten alive by Bados for millions of years, he had never suffered such a blow before. In the crazy attack on Adros, Xiangpa's destructive energy could not help him, but was used by Adros instead. But it is also true that Adros was a powerful man from ancient times. Although he only woke up thousands of years ago, how could his understanding of destructive energy be the same as Panem's? Xiangpa was knocked out again. Adros laughed and said, "So the so-called god of destruction is nothing more than this, just an idiot who repeats what others say." However, although Adros said so, he actually did not gain any advantage. While the two of them were fighting, he also had to worry about his own people below. "Damn it, damn Frozen Clan, you made me angry." Xiangpa increased his strength again. If only comparing pure combat power, Xiangpa is 10% higher than Adros. However, when it comes to the use of destructive energy, Xiangpa is far behind. Xiangpa now hates the angels in his heart. If he had not been forced to integrate into the destructive energy, with his qualifications, he would probably have become a true god. On the Frozen Star, the battle took on a different situation. Under the siege of the Six-Peak Destruction Masters, although the Frozen Clan was very tenacious, they gradually fell into a disadvantage, and it was only a matter of time before they were killed. In the battle to destroy Housey, the number of Tianshu humans and Su beasts was no less than that of the ice demons. Moreover, Caulifla and Kale, two little girls who fought like crazy, were like tigers among a flock of sheep, constantly reaping the lives of the ice tribe. It's not that the Frozen Clan didn't want to escape, but facing the blockade of Hit and Tianshu, they had no chance at all. Adros saw all this, but was kept being dragged by Xiangpa. "Damn it! If you give me tens of thousands of years, I will become a true god. Damn it!" Although the Ice Clan is known for being cold-blooded, they still can't keep their cool when they watch their own clan being destroyed. "You forced me to do this. If that's the case, even if it means losing yourself, don't even think about having an easy life." Adros dodged Xiangpa's fist and knocked Xiangpa several thousand meters away with his tail. The aura on his body began to change drastically. A phantom came from nowhere and poured into Adros' body. Adros seemed to be in great pain. Summoning the ancestral spirit. Sun Tian in the void was naturally paying close attention. He thought of the last time Adros used this trick to force Bados' clone to not even have the courage to fight and directly self-destruct. Adros' aura increased rapidly with the infusion of this phantom, and after a while, his entire body underwent a drastic change. Adros, who was already ferocious to begin with, became even more ferocious. The four sharp horns on his head were inverted, flashing a faint blue light. 9 bone spurs also appeared on his back, making him look particularly cold. On each of his arms and shoulders, there was a sky-high horn. His upper body showed silver-gray blocky muscles, while his lower body was covered with purple-black lines, and his tail was swinging powerfully. Adros' icy breath made Xiangpa feel an inexplicable threat. "Ha ha ha ha, have my descendants been forced to this point by a group of false gods?" The voice had completely changed, and even though it came from Adros, it gave people a creepy feeling. Xiangpa, who was fighting against him, was shaking unnaturally. At the same time, Hit and Tianshu, who had been blocking the void, also flew over. "Oh, 3 destruction limits. But it's still too weak. Who are you? You can't be Adros." Xiangpa tried to remain calm, but the destructive energy in his body seemed out of control. "Who am I? You can call me the ancient god of destruction, Vitalik." It turned out that Adros actually used his own blood to forcibly summon the soul of the ancestor in his blood. However, the price of doing so might be that after this battle, they would fall into sleep again for hundreds of millions of years and perhaps never wake up again. The ancient god of destruction. Xiangpa had never heard of it, but he could feel that the opponent's strength was far superior to the 3 of them. Even if he joined forces with Zit Tianshu, he might not be a match for the opponent. "Time is limited, you might as well die." Vitalik knew that he was just a remnant soul. Although his descendants had used the power of his blood to temporarily revive him, he could only survive for a long time. And according to his perception, the number of his tribesmen below was becoming fewer and fewer, so he had to fight quickly and kill this remnant soul before it disappeared. As soon as Vitalik finished speaking, Xiangpa, Hit and Tianshu felt a powerful aura locking onto them, which made them unable to move. How is that possible? A sense of threat to life made my soul tremble involuntarily. Am I going to die here today? But the next moment, the lock of that aura suddenly disappeared, and a figure appeared in front of them. Who else could it be but Sun Tian? Vitalik was shocked. He had just been awakened, but he didn't expect that the other side had such a strong person. "Scion. I didn't expect to meet the descendants of the giant golden ape. Sun Tian knew that if he did not take action, people like Pahit and Tianxu would probably be killed. He was also very curious about the man in front of him who claimed to be the ancient god of destruction. Xiangpa, the three of you go help Caulifla and the others, leave this to me. The three knew that with their current strength, there was no way they could interfere with the fight between the two. You want to leave, have you asked me? Vitalik felt that he was being looked down upon, and then 3 destructive light balls condensed between his fingers. Xiangpa and the others had no fear at all. If they were hit, they would be destroyed in an instant. Oh, the person who wants to kill me, have you asked me? As soon as Sun Tian finished speaking, he appeared in front of Vitalik and grabbed Vitalik's arm with one hand, and the 3 destructive light balls disappeared. So fast. The next moment, a huge impact came from the abdomen. It turned out that at that moment, Sun Tian launched a direct attack with his knee. Who are you? Vitalik looked at Sun Tian in front of him with horror. You have to know that he is the oldest existence in this world, an ancient life evolved from the source of innate destruction. Although now he is just a remnant soul awakened with the help of the body and blood of his descendants, he also has the strength of a late true god. But in the fight just now, he didn't even have a chance to react before being approached directly. When did such a strong man appear among the Scions? Did the angels not care? Or did the angels lose the battle with the Scions? His original body was lost in ancient times, and he didn't know the final outcome of the ancient war, but in his opinion, the angels had a greater chance of winning. Late true god, but still not good enough. You should be a remnant soul of the ancient frozen demon, right? As the heart of the universe continued to merge into the inner world, Sun Tian's strength was also constantly improving. Although he had not yet reached the peak of true god, he was not afraid even when facing ordinary peak true gods. The man in front of him had at most the combat power of the late true god stage, and was naturally far from his opponent. Vitalik was shocked. He could tell from his condition that the scion in front of him was definitely not ordinary. And just now, he checked some of Adro's memories and knew that since ancient times, the Scions, Namekians, and their ice clan were all losers. The former two were even more failed, and their inheritance was almost completely cut off. But what was going on with this scion in front of him? Vitalik dares to guarantee that he is at least in the late stage of true god. Even in ancient times, he would be a top figure. But didn't they say that the Scions and Namekians have declined? As a fellow loser, do you really want to kill us all? You are only helping the angels by doing this. As long as you let us go, I can make the Frozen clan obey your orders completely in the future. Sun Tianxia laughed, ha 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 ha, leave you here. Do you think your people are useful to me? Or do you want to leave them here and then sway to the side of the angels? Vitalik also knew that in the ancient war, the actions of their ice clan were not only despised by the Scions and Namekians, but also by the angels and the king of gods. In that case, let's fight. As an ancient life, even though he is only a remnant soul now, he still has his pride. Since it can't be let go, Vitalik doesn't intend to struggle anymore. It should have been done long ago. Sun Tian didn't use any extra moves. He just casually took an asteroid into his hand. The asteroid kept getting smaller and smaller, and finally became the size of a football. Vitalik was shocked when he saw it. What kind of magical power is this? It's too scary. But Vitalik was not slow either, and a pure black destructive energy ball quickly took shape. The two launched attacks almost at the same time. Sun Tian used his magical power and the planet suddenly grew larger again during flight and met the destructive energy ball in midair, but in less than a few breaths, it crushed it directly. Vitalik roared, and all the energy in his body quickly gathered. After a while, a destructive energy bomb far exceeding the one just now was formed. Looking at the asteroid that was getting bigger and bigger as it got closer to him, I don't believe how powerful a mere asteroid can be. Let's destroy it. It's no use. Sun Tian moved his mind, and the asteroid hit the energy bomb at a faster speed, and pressed towards Vitalik together with the energy bomb. What? Impossible. We are both in the late stage of true god, why is there such a big gap between us? Vitalik couldn't figure it out, but he didn't want to think about it. He was just a remnant soul. Although he could exert the combat power of a late true god, how could he compare with Sun Tian, who was at the peak of the infinite direct true god? Vitalik was pressed directly towards the frozen star by the asteroid and his own destructive energy ball. Soon, a giant crater appeared on the entire frozen star, which could be clearly seen even by Sun Tian standing in outer space. Vitalik's residual soul and body had already turned into ashes in the impact. The last powerful man with the ultimate destructive power of the Ice Clan of the 6th universe had completely become a thing of the past. On the Frozen Star, with the addition of 3 extremely powerful men of destruction, the Frozen Clan had no ability to resist at all. In just half a day, they were all slaughtered. Although the high-end combat power was intact, many people from the Tianqiu human race and the Su beast race also died in the war. No less than 2,000 Emperor-level warriors died, nearly 20 early-stage destruction-level warriors died, and 5 middle-stage destruction-level warriors died. It can be said that it was the greatest loss in the history of the Tianqiu world. Sun Tian looked at the Frozen Star below that had been riddled with holes, and the tens of thousands of strong men standing behind him, and couldn't help but sigh at the cruelty of the struggle in the universe. There are more than 200,000 people in the Frozen Clan, including 3 people at the peak of destruction, more than 10 people in the late stage of destruction, nearly 50 people in the middle stage of destruction, and no less than 200 people in the early stage of destruction. The weakest are all Emperor-level groups, and they will be destroyed at any time. However, when he thought that this was just a declining Frozen Clan, they had such strength, and how many strong people did the Angel Clan and the King of the Gods Clan, which had developed for billions of years, have? Although the energy gathered around him was already very strong without him realizing it, the battle with the Angel Clan would definitely not be like this. Moreover, as far as he knew, there were at least 50 true gods in the Angel Clan. In comparison, the strong people on his side were still far from enough. The ancestral star of the Frozen Clan is very peculiar. Even after such a fierce battle, it was not damaged at all. Even compared with the Divine Continent, its solidity is not much inferior. Seeing Xiang Pa and others returning to his side, Sun Tian used his magical powers again, and the huge Frozen Star slowly shrank, and finally slowly disappeared in Sun Tian's palm. It was directly taken into the inner world and placed in a corner of the void of the inner world. Xiang Pa and the others were stunned. Is this the power of a true god? It's too terrifying. Seeing that the matter was over, Sun Tian let the Tianqiu human race and the Su beast race return to the Tianqiu realm in the inner world, while Sun Tian brought Xiangpa, Hit and others and appeared directly in front of Bados. Next, Sun Tian did not plan to collect Super Dragon Balls in the 7th universe in his own identity, but was preparing to act as Bardos. In the inner world, Bardos found that Sun Tian had suddenly arrived, and she felt very upset. From childhood to adulthood, she had never suffered such a big loss, but she could not beat Sun Tian, nor could she escape. Bardos lost his usual composure and said angrily, "Scion, what do you want to do? I advise you to let me go, otherwise my tribe will find out and you won't be able to escape." Sun Tian looked at Bardos, but he was not angry. He did not kill her at the beginning because he thought she might be useful in the future. "Bardos, you are already a prisoner, but you are still so arrogant." Upon hearing this, Bardos said angrily, "Humph, if one of my clones hadn't been damaged, how could I have been caught by you? You are just taking advantage of someone's misfortune." But having said that, Bardos knew that even if he was not injured, he would still be no match for the scion in front of him. "Okay, I'm not here to listen to you talking about this. Oh, by the way, the Frozen Clan that forced your clone to self-destruct has been wiped out by me." Bardos thought it was normal. With the opponent's strength at the peak of the late True God stage, it was not difficult at all. "Huh, are you here to show off to me?" Sun Tian replied, "Of course not, this time I came here mainly to borrow your body." Bardos was shocked when she heard this. Could this guy be interested in her? Otherwise, given the relationship between the two tribes, she should have killed him long ago. Unfortunately, she realized the next moment that she was overthinking. Sun Tian pressed down Bardos's head with one hand, and then sealed all his consciousness. Then a thought directly entered Bardos's mind. After a while, Sun Tian's mind had completely become familiar with Bados's body. Although he could not yet fully unleash the strength of this body, it could at least have the combat power of an early true god. Kampa. A sound came from Bardos's body, and at the same time, a true god-level aura emanated from it. You are Lord Sun Tian." Xianpa was shocked. What kind of ability was this? Even Bados, who was in the late stage of true god, was forcibly occupied by his body. "Yes, it's me. Next, I will go to the 7th universe with you in this body." So far, Sun Tian still doesn't want to expose himself to Weiss. It's not because he is afraid of Weiss, but because he doesn't want to attract the attention of the High Priest. In the 7th universe, Bardos, Sun Tian, and Xiang Pa were traveling through the subspace at high speed. A true god-level energy appeared in front of them. Originally, Bardos, Sun Tian, did not want to contact it, but this energy actually came directly towards them. Bardos, Sun Tian, had to pause. After a while, an angel who looked somewhat similar to Bardas came to them with a thin version of Kampa. Who else could it be but Whis and Beerus? Beerus jumped out from behind Whis. Hey, isn't this Kampa? He's gained weight again. Xianpa hadn't seen Beerus for a long time, but there seemed to be a tacit understanding between the two. Whenever they met, they would definitely sabotage each other. Hey, isn't this Beerus? How come you're so thin? What the hell do you care, you bastard? What are you doing in my 7th universe? TSK, come on, I didn't expect you to be awake. The sun really is rising from the west. What did you say? Xiangpa, this is the 7th universe, not a place for you, the god of destruction of the 6th universe. Humph, I'm just passing by, and you're still so stingy. The two of them kept talking back and forth, constantly undermining each other, leaving Weiss and Bardas, Sun Tian, speechless. Xiangpa, you're not trying to steal the delicacies of my 7th universe, are you? Stop joking, your food can never compare to the food in our 6th universe. As he spoke, Kampa took out a bird egg and threw it to Beerus, seeming to be saying something. Finally, he even took a fighting stance, and Xiangpa smiled sinisterly. Why, do you want to fight? Beerus also acted fiercely. You fat pig, I'll beat you if you want, who's afraid of who? Come on, you skinny guy. But the next moment, Xiangpa quickly hid behind Bados, Sun Tian. Beerus was speechless for a while, and then Whis came forward and said, Lord Beerus, let's go. Beerus gave Kampa a look, and then the two teams left separately. In a space, Bardas, Sun Tian, asked, how is it going, have you and Beerus reached an agreement? Xiangpa was like a different person, it's already been discussed. Don't worry, my lord. We brothers are in sync with each other. Weiss won't find out. Oh, that's good. Suddenly, Xiangpa said, my lord, Beerus said they are going to a place called Earth to kill the Scions there. What do you think? Sun Tian was shocked. What, Earth? What's going on? The sun star where the Earth is located was transformed into a magic star system by the mighty dragon a long time ago. How could there be another Earth? And in order to prevent the angels from finding out the reason, he also moved the entire magic star system containing the mighty dragon into the inner world. What exactly happened? No, I have to find out. In the Milky Way, on Earth, Sun Wukong and his friends are celebrating on a luxury cruise ship, and everyone is having a great time. Vegeta stepped forward. Kakarot, let's have a sparring match to see if you've been slacking off over the past year. Sun Wukong, dressed in an orange martial arts uniform and holding a large pig's hoof in one hand, replied in a slurred voice, Hey, Vegeta. Vegeta couldn't bear to look at it, and always felt that Kakarot was a bit of a disgrace to the Scions. Please respect him. His mouth was still wrapped, and it was very rude to answer like this. And just like that, a voice suddenly sounded in the sky. Scion. I didn't expect it to be real. It was Whis and Beerus who appeared above the cruise ship, and the one who spoke was Whis. Weiss hadn't thought of this at first. Although he knew that there was a possibility of mirror spacetime fusion in the Milky Way, he still found it incredible when he actually saw it. And among these people, Whis actually found many familiar faces, such as Vegeta and Gohan, but he did not see Bu, Bardock and others. However, after a careful sensing, he found that the Vegeta and Gohan here were not as powerful as those he saw a few months ago, or they were much weaker. Instead, another person caught his attention, that was Sun Wukong. Although he did not transform, the power hidden in his body was the strongest among this group of people. Sun Wukong and the others were also very surprised when Beerus and Whis suddenly appeared in the sky. There was not a trace of breath, but he could stay in the air very naturally. He could not be an ordinary person. And for some reason, Sun Wukong and the others felt that he seemed to have bad intentions. You, who are you? Vegeta and Piccolo also had this feeling. As for the others, the gap in their levels was too big, and they had no idea of the newcomer's strength. The three of them were facing a formidable enemy. At this time, Gohan, Krillin, Lepian and others seemed to realize the seriousness of the problem. You know, even when Majin Buu was born, Goku and Vegeta did not show such an expression. There are not many Earth Dragon Ball warriors in the Goku universe, and the strongest are only Goku and Vegeta. After the transformation, Vegeta's combat power is close to 60 billion, while Goku's Super Saiyan 3 is about 90 billion. Next is the second generation Demon King Piccolo, whose combat power reaches 10 billion. As for Gohan, although he can transform into Super Saiyan 2, his combat power is only about 8 billion. The combat power of other androids 18 and 17 is far behind Gohan. Although they have improved a lot through practice over the years, it is only about 5 billion. Sun Wukong and his friends did not know that their spacetime had completely merged with the mirror spacetime of Sun Tian, who had come to their spacetime before, and for some reason the underworld suddenly lost its sensitivity a few years ago, and Sun Wukong had never been to North Kai King planet. The voice of Whis the pseudo-girl came, the science in your time and space are really weak. Sun Wukong and his companions knew something about time and space. After all, Sun Tian and his companions had been to their time and space before. At that time, Sun Tian and his companions were many times stronger than them. Our time and space. Are you from another time and space? Up to now, they have not realized that their own spacetime has merged with another mirror spacetime. After hearing what Weiss said, they subconsciously thought that Weiss and the others came from Sun Tian's spacetime or Dat spacetime. Beerus was also confused, not understanding what Whis meant. Whis, what are you talking about? What about their time and space? Whis glanced at Beerus and said, Lord Beerus, it's nothing. It's just that during the years you were asleep, the Milky Way has undergone some changes and has been divided into 3 mirror time and space. Even if Whis and the others are true gods, they cannot enter the mirror dimension at will. Just like before, Whis knew that Bardock came from another mirror dimension, but could not enter another mirror dimension. As the god of destruction, Beerus certainly knows about the mirror dimension. So what's the situation now? Even if we are gods, we should only be able to enter one mirror dimension, right? Whis replied, of course, not to mention Lord Beerus, even I can only enter one mirror dimension, but something unexpected happened a while ago. The 2 mirror dimensions actually merged into one, but judging from their appearance, they don't seem to know it. The 2 did not avoid talking to Goku and the others, but Vegeta fell into deep thought. It can be said that the moment he saw Beerus, Vegeta felt as if he had seen him somewhere before. Suddenly, a bad memory buried deep in his memory emerged. Beerus, yes, the god of destruction Beerus. That was before the destruction of planet Vegeta. Vegeta was only 4 or 5 years old at that time. I remember that one day Vegeta's combat power broke through 8,000. He was about to report the good news to his father, but he found that his father was crawling on the ground humbly. The figure at that time was Beerus in front of him. At that time, he tried desperately to rush out, but was fixed by the other party's eyes. That feeling was never experienced when he faced Frieza, even when he worked under Frieza later. I remember that the figure called himself the god of destruction Beerus, but not long after, planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza, and Vegeta began his life as a wandering prince. Thinking of this, Vegeta's body trembled unnaturally. Are you the god of destruction Beerus? Beerus, who was communicating with Whis, didn't expect that someone here actually remembered him. After taking a closer look, he suddenly remembered who the person in front of him was. Oh, has the Saiyan kid grown to this point? Although Sun Wukong knew that the 2 people above were very strong, his bellicosity made him want to challenge any expert he saw, and he immediately asked, are you strong? Can I fight you? Vegeta was so scared that he jumped up and slapped Son Goku on the head. Kakarot, don't do that, he is the most powerful god of destruction in the universe. Then he quickly kowtowed to Beerus and said, Lord Beerus, my companion did not mean to offend me, please do not confront him. Beerus ignored Vegeta and said to Son Goku, you want to fight me? Son Goku seemed to have a natural love for fighting. Yes, I heard from Vegeta that you are very strong, please. Whis was standing aside. He discovered that the Scions of this time and space did not seem to be aware of the conflict between them and the angels. Moreover, their aura was not like those Scions he had met before, which were full of violence. Instead, they had an aura of righteousness. Lord Beerus, just fight this Scion. Beerus was a little dissatisfied. Whis, why do you want me to fight such a weak guy? Beerus is the god of destruction after all. If he is asked to lower his status to fight a mortal, will he still have the dignity? Moreover, he had previously synchronized his mind with Kampa, but he knew that the Scion below looked almost exactly like the Scion that Kampa was currently serving. But Sun Wukong did not appreciate it. He thought Beerus was looking down on him, so he suddenly transformed into a Super Saiyan, hoping to get Beerus recognition. Oh, interesting. I thought you were just like that, but I didn't expect you could actually transform. After transforming into Super Saiyan 1, Goku's current combat power is about 15 billion. Although it is still just that in Beerus's eyes, he still has a little interest in it. Sun Wukong flew forward and said, please give me some advice. Although Beerus was a little unhappy about Son Goku's unreasonableness, he still agreed when he saw the other party's clear eyes and his persistence in fighting. Go ahead. As the price of my attack, if you can't satisfy me today, then there is no need for the earth to exist. As soon as Vegeta heard this, he knew it was the end. Kakaroto's naivety would kill them sooner or later. Meanwhile, Weiss had already landed on the cruise ship and began to taste various delicacies, while a plan was slowly taking shape in his mind. As a powerful man who is the true god, Weiss naturally cannot forget his purpose because of delicious food. At present, among the Saiyans in this time and space, only Sun Wukong and Vegeta are leading. However, the two of them did not seem to be aware of the grudges between the Saiyans and the angels, and Son Goku was obviously a naive guy who was full of infinite desire for battle. In the sky, Sun Wukong knew that although the guy opposite him seemed to have no aura at all, he was definitely a strong enemy. Beerus just stood casually in the air, but Sun Wukong found that no matter where he attacked from, it seemed that the opponent would easily block it. "What's the matter? Don't you want me to teach you?" Sun Wukong broke out in sweat, but he could not find a chance to attack. Below, Vegeta cursed in his heart, "Kakaroto, what an idiot, does he really think he is called the god of destruction for nothing?" However, Sun Wukong is Sun Wukong after all. He was indeed suppressed by Beerus's momentum at the beginning, but he quickly adjusted himself. Since there is no flaw, he will create one. Ha! Sun Wukong's aura suddenly surged again, and he turned into Super Saiyan 2, twice as strong as before, with a combat power of 55 billion, and lightning wrapped around his body. Kamehameha Wave. As soon as he came up, Sun Wukong used all his strength in the Qigong Wave. In Sun Wukong's opinion, no matter how strong the opponent was, he would inevitably reveal a flaw under this attack. Interesting. Beerus opened his mouth and blew out a breath, and the energy wave that was enough to easily destroy a planet was actually blown away. Good opportunity. Sun Wukong suddenly used his special skill, moved instantly, appeared from the back of Beerus, and punched Beerus in the head. Unfortunately, the difference in strength was too great. Beerus seemed to have eyes on his back and easily blocked Son Goku's full-strength attack with just 2 fingers. "Ah, is this your strength? You are so weak." Turning around, Beerus held Son Goku's fist with one hand. No matter how hard Son Goku tried, he couldn't move. How is it possible? Beerus smiled evilly, "You're done." Then he bent his other hand and flicked his fingers, and a force came that was difficult for Sun Wukong to resist. Boom! Sun Wukong had no ability to resist at all and was directly thrown away and fell into the deep sea. Kakaroto. Son. Dad. On the cruise ship, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Son Gohan screamed and looked at Beerus in disbelief, while also looking at the huge vortex on the sea. Although Vegeta already knew that the god of destruction Beerus was very strong, he did not expect that he was so strong. Although Super Saiyan 2 Son Goku was a little weaker than his full-power Super Saiyan 2, he was definitely a very strong existence. However, in front of Beerus, he did not even have a chance to fight back. After a long time, Sun Wukong finally flew out from the bottom of the sea in a panic, but there was blood at the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that Sun Wukong had been seriously injured in the previous fight. So strong. But I haven't lost yet. Then Sun Wukong began to gather his energy, and his aura surged again. At the same time, his whole body was changing. His hair kept getting longer, his eyebrows disappeared, and his whole body was filled with violence. This is Sun Wukong's strongest state at present, the 3rd stage of Super Saiyan, with a combat power of 90 billion. The whole earth is shaking, as if it is the end of the world. On the cruise ship, Whis was also shocked. Although he knew that there was a stronger power in Son Goku's body, he did not expect that it was actually the 3rd level of Super Saiyan. Although it was much weaker than Vegeta in the original Mirror Time and Space, it was also amazing enough. Beerus was also surprised, but only slightly surprised. This power was much weaker than that of the red-haired Saiyan he met before he became the god of destruction. Stubborn. Sun Wukong knew that even though he was much worse than Beerus now, he still had no regrets. "Sorry to have kept you waiting. This is my strongest state now. I know I am still no match for you, but please give me your guidance." Maybe Sun Wukong is such a person, who does what he knows is impossible. Although he seems naive, his pursuit of martial arts is the most pure and persistent. Come on. Finish the fight so I can finish my work and go back to bed. The so-called job, of course, is to destroy the Earth. Son Goku knew that if he couldn't satisfy Beerus, the fate of the Earth was almost decided. Be careful. This is my strongest move. Sun Wukong's body continued to move forward in a unique way, and his aura continued to increase. Dragon Fist. Explode. A year ago, it was this move that killed Bu in one fell swoop, and even Buu's super recovery ability was ineffective because of this move. What? How is that possible? Whis below was shocked. Others couldn't see it, but how could he not see it? This was clearly a blow that triggered the laws of heaven and earth. Although it was still very crude, you have to know that this Scion was only at Super Saiyan 3. Beerus also felt a little bit of threat from this punch, but that was all. However, Beerus did not intend to take the blow head-on, because even he might be injured by this blow. Boy, I admit that I underestimated you, but it's still useless to me. Sun Wukong flew up against the sky, forming a dragon-shaped shadow, and the whole world seemed to be pierced through. Too slow. Unfortunately, this extremely powerful attack failed to hit the enemy, and all the efforts were in vain. At some point, Beerus moved at an extremely fast speed, so fast that even Super Saiyan 3 Goku didn't realize that the thing he was hit was just an afterimage. Bang! A huge force came from the back of his neck, and Sun Wukong knew he had failed. Then he exited the Super Saiyan 3 state, his hair turned black again, and he fell into the sea. Son Gohan quickly dived into the sea, and soon, he dragged the dead Son Goku back to the cruise ship. Is Kakarot okay? Vegeta asked solemnly, looking at Beerus warily. He just fainted, Dandy, please help me. Although there are no gods on Earth anymore, Den still stayed and did not go to the new Namek with the other Namekians. Leave it to me. A young Namekian who looked like Piccolo but was slightly thinner stepped forward and touched Son Goku's body with his hands. A green light slowly emanated from his body. Life treatment. This is a unique skill, or talent, of the Namekians. The healing Namekians will convert the energy they normally absorb into a kind of healing energy and store it. When a tribe member or other person is injured, they will channel it out to quickly restore the other person's injuries and energy. Although this energy cannot be used directly in combat, it plays a greater role in war than a combat-type Namekian. An adult healing-type Namekian can treat at least hundreds of soldiers. Even a Super Saiyan like Son Goku can only treat several people before his stored energy is exhausted. Sun Wukong recovered quickly under Dandy's treatment, and even the injuries on his body were completely healed. Thank you, Dandy. He first thanked Den, then turned and flew towards Beerus again. Awesome. I didn't expect that even my strongest attack is no match for you. Next, Vegeta had to give Kakarot a thumbs up for his naivety. Doesn't he know that it depends on the situation? Beerus was also confused by Son Goku's personality. Humph, it's not that I'm great, but that you're too weak. Compared to the Saiyan I met before I became the god of destruction, you're still many times worse. When he heard about the strong, Sun Wukong became interested. What? Have you met other Saiyans? Is it the one who looks like me? From the previous conversation, Sun Wukong already knew that the spacetime he was in seemed to have merged with another spacetime. Listening to Beerus's words, he subconsciously thought that the Saiyan Beerus met was himself in another spacetime. After all, in his understanding, only Sun Tian met that condition. Although he had achieved a combat power far superior to that of the past through continuous practice over the years, he still believed that he was no match for Sun Tian whom he had met last time. He didn't know how powerful he had become after so many years. Beerus learned about Sun Tian's existence from Kampa, but to be honest, the person he was talking about was not Sun Tian at all. However, it seemed that the person in front of him also knew about Sun Tian's existence, but he would not be stupid enough to tell Whis about Sun Tian's existence. Humph, the Saiyan I was talking about was millions of years ago, and not in this universe. Sun Wukong was confused. What universe? Millions of years ago? Could it be that the person in front of him had already lived for millions of years? Ah! How old are you this year? Beerus was confused by Goku's train of thought and said angrily, don't you know that it is very rude to ask someone's age? I said millions of years ago, so it's obvious that I have lived for millions of years. Ah, so you are not the senior of the senior of the senior of the senior? After saying that, Sun Wukong stepped back a few meters and bowed to Beerus very solemnly. Hello, senior. I am Sun Wukong, please give me your guidance. But he was thinking in his heart, it seems that the loss is not unfair. I have only been practicing for more than 40 years, while the others have been practicing for millions of years. Thinking of this, Sun Wukong let go. Beerus thought he was being ridiculous enough, but he didn't expect to be amused by the guy in front of him. Sun Wukong. I'll remember you. Go down. I have to carry out my mission. Beerus' words shocked Vegeta, Piccolo and others below. The fact that Sun Wukong realized it later did not mean that they knew nothing. Although they knew that resisting was useless, they still transformed quickly. However, at this moment, Whis suddenly appeared beside Beerus. Big Beerus, I think this planet is great. The food down there is absolutely first-rate, it would be a pity to destroy it. Beerus and Whis have lived together for many years, so how could he not know what Whis meant, that is, he should not destroy the planet. He must be planning something again. What, Whis? I was fighting on the planet just now, and you were enjoying a delicious meal alone down there. So a food show began. Beerus no longer mentioned destroying the planet, and Whis no longer mentioned the scions. It seemed that they came here just for the food. About half an hour later, when they had almost finished eating all the food, Beerus said, Whis, it's almost time. If there's nothing else, let's go back. Although Beerus didn't know why Whis suddenly stopped him from destroying the Earth, he knew that it was definitely not because of the food. How big is the seventh universe, and how many star regions does it contain? How could there be no planet whose food can rival that of Earth? Is this a joke? Right now, I'm still discussing pudding with the Bulma team. As for whether they were really discussing it, it is unknown. Not long after, Whis took Beerus away from the luxury cruise ship and returned to the Destruction Realm. However, before leaving, Whis tactfully said that if Son Goku and Vegeta wanted to become stronger, they could consider going to the Destruction Realm to practice. In the endless void, Whis and Beerus were flying at high speed. Beerus suddenly asked, why? Don't say it's because of the food. Whis smiled. As expected, nothing could be hidden from Beerus. Lord Beerus, don't you think there are too few strong people in our universe? Beerus thought to himself, there are too few strong ones. Why are there so few? Don't you angels have any idea? But he said, yes, the guy named Son Goku in the 7th universe is not bad. Although he used a tricky method to improve his combat power, he is still a master. And the Scion Prince, I didn't expect that he has grown up after more than 40 years. It seems that he is not much weaker than Son Goku. Whis smiled mysteriously, how about it? I'm considering training these two people well. If anything happens to Lord Beerus in the future, there will be someone to take your place, right? Beerus felt a surge of excitement in his heart. No way, could it be that the telepathic synchronization with Kampa during his previous meeting was discovered? Replace the God of Destruction. It's not just as simple as replacing the God of Destruction. The God of Destruction in every universe is unique, but if the angel wants to replace the God of Destruction, it means that the previous God of Destruction is not far from death. Generally speaking, there are two ways to replace the God of Destruction in the universe. One is that the previous God of Destruction was killed. This kind of thing has happened before. Beerus' predecessor was killed by a demon from the true demon realm. Later, Beerus was brought from the 6th universe to the 7th universe to serve as the God of Destruction. The other possibility is that the angels feel that the current God of Destruction is out of control and has become disloyal, which will damage the interests of the angels. At this time, the guardian angels will often look for a new candidate for the God of Destruction. When the new candidate's combat power reaches the limit of destruction and can carry the destructive energy, they will kill the previous God of Destruction and then take out the destructive energy and give it to the new God of Destruction. The destructive energy is very overbearing. Once it enters the body, it cannot be controlled without the combat power of the limit of destruction. Moreover, the destructive energy will absorb the host's laws and grow on its own, making it difficult for the host's own laws to make any progress. But this time, Beerus guessed wrong. The reason why Whis kept Goku and Vegeta was that he wanted to train these two people to deal with the scions in the true demon realm in the future. Moreover, Whis saw the hope of becoming gods in Son Goku and Vegeta. If he didn't control them early, once these two became gods, it would be difficult to control them. As for why he didn't kill them directly, for Whis, who was in the late stage of true god, he really wouldn't care much about two scions who were only at the 2nd and 3rd level. Whis would never have thought that even if they really wanted to destroy the Earth at that time, they couldn't do it. Not long after Whis and his companions arrived on Earth, Bardos, Sun Tian, had already brought Xianpa to the vicinity. If they took any action, he would definitely come forward to stop them. However, what Bardos, Sun Tian, did not expect was that Whis actually gave up in the end. According to what Bai Gao said before, Whis had suffered losses at the hands of Chi Tian and Bardock before, so he should not leave Sun Wukong and the others alone. My lord, what is the situation? Bardos, Sun Tian, is now at a level far beyond that of Whis. If he doesn't want to be discovered by Whis, it is natural and easy for him to do so, but Xianpa can't do that. It's okay, but I don't understand why Whis gave up when he had the intention to kill those scions at the beginning. Even if Bardos, Sun Tian, was a true god, he couldn't figure this out, but he knew that Whis must have some ulterior motive, but he didn't know what it was. Bardas, Sun Tian, is not planning to go to Earth to meet Sun Wukong and the others for the time being. Since Whis has a plan, if he shows up to meet them, with the strength of Sun Wukong and the others, they will definitely reveal their tracks. Okay, Xiangpa, let's go find the last few Dragon Balls. 3 days later, Bados, Sun Tian, and Xiangpa finally collected the last Super Dragon Ball. In the void space between the 6th universe and the 7th universe, Sun Tian released 7 Super Dragon Balls. At the same time, people like Pahit Tianqiu were also there. As for Bardas, he was once again imprisoned in the inner world by Sun Tian. As for why they were not summoned in the inner world, it was because Sun Tian discovered that the 7 Super Dragon Balls seemed unable to be used in the inner world, although he didn't know why. In the void, 7 planet-sized Super Dragon Balls emitted a golden halo. The scene was so shocking that even Sun Tian, who was already a powerful true god at the peak of the late stage, still found it unbelievable. Xiangpa's face was full of excitement. Whether he could break free from the life bond with God Kai depended on this time. Hit, Tianqiu and others were also looking forward to it, while Caulifla and others were sitting on Tianqiu's back. There was no other way. Although their strength was strong enough, they were still not enough to stay in the void space. Sun Tian sorted out his emotions. Strictly speaking, this was only his 3rd time summoning the dragon. He remembered the first time was when he was very young and went on an adventure with Bulma and the others. The first time he was just testing the waters, but he didn't expect that it was that one time that changed his entire destiny. From the moment he received the ancient ape demonic art bestowed by the dragon, his fate has changed. He is no longer like Sun Wukong, who was teased by fate and became a chess piece of the gods. Although he has not yet reached the strength of a chess thrower, he is no longer a chess piece of the gods. For more than 20 years, he has never slacked off, and 90% of his time has been spent on cultivation. Now, he has even cultivated the ancient ape magic art from the body-tempering realm to the Dharma image realm. With coincidence, he has been able to integrate into the original cosmic heart of this world. This has given him some confidence, but the God clan is like a sword hanging over his head. Although strictly speaking, the relationship between the gods and the scions has nothing to do with him. He is just a lonely soul wandering in a foreign land. Perhaps only the dragon god, who also comes from China, can have a certain common language with him. However, his identity in Scion blood made him become mortal enemies with the gods, and over the years, his interactions with Vegeta, Piccolo and others gradually formed an inseparable bond with this world. The second time he summoned the dragon was after killing Frisia. The power of the dragon at that time was so great that the world changed dramatically in a single thought. Sun Tian was filled with blood, but he also realized the horror of this world. You have to know that it was just a wisp of divine thought from the ancestor of the dragon, just a thought, but it had such great power. Is the Omni King of the same level the same as well? However, he did not know some historical truths at that time, but it also made him more low-key. Piccolo and Vegeta were almost all in charge of the affairs of the demonic martial empire, and he spent more time practicing in the demonic martial holy realm. It was not until he broke through to the Dharma image realm that he gained enough confidence and strength to fight against the ordinary gods. Sun Tian looked at the 7 Super Dragon Balls below, wondering if the ancestor would be very happy after seeing his current achievements. Sun Tian chanted the summoning spell in the language of God, "Come out, Dragon of God. Please fulfill my wish, the hairpin." As Sun Tian cast the summoning spell, the 7 Dragon Balls slowly moved, with the last 4 balls in the center and the other 6 Dragon Balls surrounding them, injecting energy into the 4 balls and emitting golden light. Xiangpa and the others were blinded by the bright light. After an unknown amount of time, the light faded away and a giant cocoon of light appeared before their eyes. Inside the cocoon, a golden creature was sleeping. The light cocoon was so large that it was hundreds of times larger than the previous Super Dragon Ball. Even though Sun Tian was already a true god, he still felt insignificant, as if as long as the creature in front of him woke up, even he would be easily crushed to death like an ant. The power from the life level and the suppression from a higher dimension of space made Sun Tian even have the urge to run away. The creature in the light cocoon opened its eyes with a bulge, as if waking up. The light slowly dissipated, and the creature's originally curled up body slowly stretched out. Roar! A huge roar was heard. If Sun Tian had not protected the others in time, Xiangpa and the others might have been killed on the spot by the roar. The entire void space was shaking, and then the void space gradually shrank and was directly swallowed by the creature in front of them. Sun Tian and his friends were naturally no exception. After an unknown amount of time, everyone slowly opened their eyes. Oh my god, are we in the body of a dragon now? Xiangpa knew that the super dragon was powerful, but he didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Hit and the others were even more shocked and didn't know what to say. Caulifla's eyes were full of stars, and she looked like a little fangirl. Even though Sun Tian had the memories of his past life and felt it personally, he still felt it was too mythical. Spanning several star fields and swallowing them directly into the mouth to form a universe within the body, is this the super dragon? Everyone was in Sun Tian's protective shield, moving deeper with a pulling force. Countless galaxies appeared and then moved away along the way, just like an internal universe. It was much larger than Sun Tian's inner world. After an unknown amount of time, they arrived at a dark area. At this time, a bright light rose in the darkness, and soon, a golden creature appeared in front of everyone. Although it was many times smaller than what was seen in the outside world, it was nearly the size of an ordinary planet. A pair of fleshy wings of unknown size, and a random scale on the body are several thousand meters in radius. It has an indescribable sacred feeling that makes people dare not look directly at it, but Sun Tian is very confused. Why doesn't it look like the Eastern Dragon? At least it should be similar to the Eastern Yinglong. This creature gives Sun Tian the feeling of a big snake with wings. Unfortunately, Sun Tian didn't know that the image of the creature in front of him was created by Salama with reference to the Quetzalcoatl in the American mythology of the Earth at that time. After all, the angels knew his own image and it could not be used indiscriminately. Faced with such a magical object, except for Sun Tian who could barely remain calm, even Xiangpa, Hit and Tianqiu, three powerful men with the ability to destroy to the limit, suddenly became quiet. At this time, a voice came from nowhere. Even with Sun Tian's ability, he could only hear it but could not trace its source. A language that only God can understand and use came from all directions. Tell me your wish, I can make any wish come true for you. Fortunately, Sun Tian had learned the language of God from Zuno before, otherwise even he would not be able to communicate. When he saw the super dragon again, Sun Tian was as panicked as yesterday. But what made Sun Tian wonder was why the dragon seemed not to recognize him when he saw him. Xiangpa looked nervous. It would soon become clear whether he could break free from the life bond with King God. Sun Tianfei looked up and said in the language of God, please forever release the life bond between the God of Destruction of Universe 6 and God Kai, okay? There was no reply from the dragon, only the super dragon's eyes glowed red. After a while, the voice came again, your wish has been fulfilled. However, the dragon that had fulfilled its wish did not disappear. Instead, it looked at Sun Tian curiously and said in Chinese that only Sun Tian could understand, yes, you are the soul from my hometown that I mentioned. At some point, everyone below, whether it was Xiangpa or Hit, except Sun Tian, had already fallen into a deep sleep. Sun Tian took a step forward, who are you? Aren't you the ancestor? The dragon replied, I am currently in seclusion to make a final breakthrough. I was separated out again more than a year ago. You can call me Salama. Of course, what appears here now is only a strand of my divine thought. Dragon God Salama, an incarnation of Shenlong, appeared in ancient times and later brought the remaining Scions and Namekians to the 6th and 7th universes. He was the creator of the Super DragonBallZ and later reintegrated into Shenlong. More than 2 years ago, the dragon felt that he was about to break through, and before falling asleep, he created another clone, which is now the Dragon God Salama. Sun Tian asked, if I break through, will I leave this world? The dragon said, yes, this world is not bad, but its energy level is still too low. I will leave once I break through again, but I will probably stay. Then he continued, you have to grow up quickly. I have calculated that in the near future, this world will be struck by a catastrophe. Even if you are a true god, you cannot guarantee that you will be able to overcome the difficulties. Only those above the true god will not be affected. Disaster? Even the true gods can't escape this. Sun Tian didn't understand. Although he was now at the peak of the late true god stage, he still had too little experience. It had only been about 40 years since he came to this world. May I ask what kind of disaster it is? Is it the annihilation of the world by the king of all, or? Shenlong replied, just like the war between the 7 tribes in ancient times. Why do you think the war between the 7 tribes in ancient times happened? Isn't it because of the uneven distribution of resources and the conflicts between races? Is there another hidden story? The dragon smiled and said, since you and I come from the same place, have you ever heard of the concept of infinite calamity? Sun Tian was confused. Isn't this only in the novel? Could it be that this will also happen in the Dragon Ball world? The dragon explained, do you really think that the 7 ancient tribes are fighting for resource allocation? Of course not, they are fighting for a glimmer of hope above the true God. As the dragon explained, Sun Tian knew the scene that even the heart of the universe he had merged with did not know. The operation of the world, the cycle of birth and death, all have their own laws of development. Before the universe in this world was formed, it was just a void space. Then, after endless years, it evolved the innate origin. Then different origins evolved into different roles. Some directly turned into life, and some evolved into the universe. However, the development of heaven and earth has its own basic laws, and treats all beings equally. In the ancient times, 18 universes and the 3 realms universe were formed. The existence of ancient creatures became a burden to the world, so they slowly gathered in the 21 largest universes in this world, and the first catastrophe broke out. Eventually, the 7 ancient tribes emerged victorious, and won a scene of 7 tribes ruling together. Afterwards, the ancient demon god transcended and became greater than the true gods. Beings above the true God no longer focus on these 21 universes. They have transcended the outside world, leaving only an incarnation and then leaving, pursuing the true path in the endless void. In the ancient times, the 7 tribes developed and conflicts emerged. After billions of years of development, the world gradually grew and could once again accommodate an existence above the true God. Therefore, for this glimmer of hope, the 7 ancient tribes started a nearly 10,000-year-long struggle. The second battle started again, and finally the ancient angel king emerged as the final winner. However, perhaps because the battle was too intense, a rift was created in the entire world, causing the dragon that ascended to the fairyland at that time to enter this world out of curiosity. Later, the appearance of the Shenlong naturally shocked the archaic angel king who had just transcended. So the archaic angel king fought with the Shenlong who had been seriously injured by the rift. After that, they both fell into a deep sleep. Before falling asleep, the Shenlong separated into the dragon god Salama, and the archaic angel king transformed into an incarnation of the Omni King. The subsequent developments were not much different from what Sun Tian knew. Sun Tian asked, does this mean that after billions of years of development, this world has grown to the point where it can once again accommodate a being above the level of a true god? Shenlong explained, that's true, but it's also because of this that many heroes will rise up, and even some sleeping old guys will wake up. Unless you are a true god, you won't even be qualified to participate. Sun Tian was shocked. He knew some secrets, especially the ones he remembered from his previous life. The later the existences appeared, the stronger they were. They must be fighting for the chance to become a true god. Thinking of this, Sun Tian asked, will the existing true gods get involved? For example, the dragon ancestor or the ancient demon god, the ancient angel king? This is very important. If these big guys get involved, then they will have no fun at all, right? No, but he will. Long ago, the incarnation of the ancient angel king, the Omni King, should have participated, and my existence is to restrain the Omni King. Although the incarnation of the ancient demon god died that year, it seems that he has reincarnated now. How many true gods are there? More, how could it be more? As far as I know, the number of true gods and ultimate powers in this world does not exceed the number of 2 hands. The number of both hands is not a small number. You have to know that he is only in the late stage of true god now, and he still has a long way to go before reaching the peak. If he wants to practice to the limit, he probably has no chance. It will take at least tens of thousands of years. It seems that time is running out. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm leaving too. If I stay any longer, I'm afraid the king of all will find out. Finally, I would like to remind you that you should never underestimate the king of all. Although he has suffered backlash, he has become even more terrifying because of this. After saying that, the dragon's body turned into a ray of light and transformed into 7 super Dragon Balls, but this time they had lost their color. They then broke through the barriers of the 6th and 7th universes and scattered into the 2 universes again. Since becoming a true god, Sun Tian has discovered that his worldview has been constantly being refreshed, and what he originally thought was the truth has been proven to be false time and time again. Infinite tribulation. Although Sun Tian was a fan of Dragon Ball in his previous life, he was also interested in online novels, especially the Honghuang novels, and had read quite a few of them. Now he was suddenly told by the dragon that in this Dragon Ball world, there was also a catastrophe, and in the near future, he would be personally involved in it. Sun Tian's scalp tingled at the thought. For a long time, Sun Tian had a question. Although fast cultivation speed was a good thing, his cultivation speed seemed to be ridiculously fast. No, it should be said that the cultivation speed of the entire Dragon Ball world was ridiculously fast. Think about the past, those King Kais, God Kais, gods of destruction, and angels, which one of them didn't go through hundreds of thousands or even millions of years to reach their current strength, but in just a few decades, Son Goku and the others' strength skyrocketed, directly defeating the King Kais and God Kais, and even reaching the level of the god of destruction. This might be related to the upcoming catastrophe. After all, how could one cultivate at such a fast speed under normal circumstances? It was totally out of character. Perhaps it was because the catastrophe of this world was approaching, and Sun Wukong and his companions, as the protagonists of this catastrophe and the Sons of Destiny, had such a fast cultivation speed. Moreover, Sun Tian just didn't believe that the Scions could greatly increase their combat power and break their own limits after recovering from the brink of death. The Scions in the past didn't know this, but why before Sun Wukong and others, the combat power of the Scions was generally not high. As for the reason why Sun Tian was able to improve his strength so quickly, probably one of the main reasons was that he took over the luck that originally belonged to Sun Wukong. In addition, he obtained the ancient ape demonic art suitable for his practice from the dragon very early on, so he had been on a roll all the way. At least from his debut to now, he has hardly encountered any life and death crisis. However, Sun Tian could clearly feel that since he discovered Sun Wukong and others in the 7th universe a few days ago, his share of luck seemed to be slowly decreasing and transferring to Sun Wukong. Standing in the void space, Sun Tian looked at the empty surroundings and slowly came to his senses. Xiang Pa and others had already been sent into the inner world by Sun Tian. The 6th universe destroyed the divine realm, and Sun Tian's figure slowly appeared. Xiang Pa and others were also transferred out of the inner world by Sun Tian. Changpa, how do you feel now? Xiangpa replied, My lord, I can feel that the life connection between me and the king of the worlds is gone. Xiangpa is in a very good mood now. For millions of years, his life has been tied up by the king of the Kai who is only in the early stage of destruction, and Bardas is watching him all the time. He can't seal the king of the Kai directly like Beerus. Now that the connection is cut off, Xiangpa feels a lot more relaxed. Alright, for the next period of time, we will practice in the destruction god realm, and you should also release the Kaioshin from his seal. After all, if the 6th universe has no contact for a long time, it will inevitably attract the attention of the angels. Sun Tian sealed Bardas' consciousness again, and a wisp of divine thought controlled Bardas' body. He himself will go into seclusion again to digest the insights he has gained in the past 2 years. In the 6th universe, everything has returned to normal, except that the guardian angel Bardas has become a puppet. The 7th universe has been visiting Earth every once in a while since Whis and his companions last came to Earth, under the pretext of visiting for Earth's delicacies, but no one knows what they are actually visiting for. After witnessing how powerful Beerus was, especially after knowing that Whis was actually Beerus' teacher, Vegeta made a decision. Now Kakarot has far surpassed him, and if he wants to become stronger, the only way now is to practice with Whis. After several temptations of delicious food, Whis finally agreed to Vegeta's request and began Vegeta's life. There is no battle between gods here, and Sun Wukong did not rely on the Scion power of the other 5 people to transform into a Super Scion god. The Sun Wukong in this time and space is not like Sun Tian, who has an entire empire as a backing, never worries about food, and often helps his family with farming when he is not practicing. That's strange. Why can't I sense the presence of King Kai and the others since 2 or 3 years ago? In the past, Sun Wukong would go to the North Kai King's planet to practice whenever he had nothing to do. But now, since some time ago, he can no longer sense the aura of King Kai. Wukong, why are you still in a daze? Not far away, Krillin arrived at Baozi Mountain without knowing when. Hey, Krillin, come on, fight with me. Krillin waved his hands quickly, forget it, I can't even beat your Goten now, so I won't spar with you. By the way, why are you still so leisurely? Vegeta is training with Whis now. Since the last fight with Beerus, Son Goku hasn't gone to spar with Vegeta for a long time. Unexpectedly. What, Vegeta is so cunning. After saying that, Sun Wukong didn't care about Krillin anymore, and with a whoosh, he teleported away. At the Universal Capsule Group in the Western capital, Bulma was just getting dressed in her pajamas after taking a shower when a figure suddenly appeared in front of her. Hey, Bulma. Where's Vegeta? I don't know whether Sun Wukong is naive or not, and he doesn't even look at the current situation. He screamed, then jumped up and knocked Sun Wukong down with a punch. Sun Wukong. Although Sun Wukong was naive, he knew that he seemed to have done something stupid, so he quickly explained his intentions. In this way, Bulma became a little nervous in the next few days, and finally he got what he wanted and officially started training under Whis. Destroy the God Realm, and Whis and Son Goku arrive, surprising Vegeta, Kakarot, mine is stronger than yours now. After more than 10 days of training, although Vegeta has not yet turned into Super Saiyan Blue, he has indeed become much stronger. Vegeta, you are so mean. You actually came here alone to train secretly. Snort. So in the following time, the two began to practice in the Destruction God realm, but they didn't know that a crisis was about to happen on Earth. In the universe, since the fusion of the two mirror universes, Frisia's army has been in more and more trouble. Its commander, Salbi, had to take a risk and send people to the Earth to secretly search for the Dragon Balls in order to resurrect Frisia and continue to rule the world. Finally, after more than 10 days, Salbi finally collected all 7 Dragon Balls. After a lot of trouble, Frisia was finally resurrected. However, Frisia knew that he was no match for Goku and Vegeta, so he chose to leave the Earth temporarily and prepare to practice hard for a while before returning to Earth for revenge. All of this, naturally, Sun Wukong and Vegeta who are far away in the Destruction God realm would not know, and Sun Tian who is far away in another universe also does not know. Although the Earth Dragon was also controlled by a wisp of divine consciousness from the Dragon God Salama, it did not prevent Kafrisa's resurrection. As long as it was within the rules, everything seemed to return to the way it was before. Due to work reasons, I can only update twice a day from now on. I hope you will continue to support me. Destroying the God realm, although Whis has his own plan, the training of Son Goku and Vegeta is also true. In the blink of an eye, Goku and Vegeta have been training in the Destruction God realm for 2 months. If we were to say who is the most unhappy during this period, it would definitely be Beerus. But with Whis putting pressure on him, Beerus couldn't say much. How is it, you two have been destroying the God realm for nearly 2 months? Sun Wukong said carelessly, Mr. Weiss, I found that I have become much stronger now, but I don't know why, it seems that a bottleneck has appeared. No matter how much I improve under normal circumstances, it seems that after transforming, except for being able to last longer, it cannot enhance my combat power. Vegeta nodded on the side. He encountered the same situation. You know, now he and Kakarot's normal combat power has reached 20 billion, but after becoming Super Saiyan, it seems that it is only about 100 billion, not like before, an increase of 50 times or 100 times. Whis smiled mysteriously, oh, I thought you wouldn't ask. But since you asked, I'll tell you, in this world, everything has its rules. The transformation of you Scions can indeed greatly improve your combat power in the early stage, but this amplitude has an upper limit. Once your amplitude reaches this upper limit, then even if you transform again, there will be no breakthrough. Sun Wukong and Vegeta were puzzled. Sun Wukong said, upper limit? Limit? Indeed, we can feel that after the transformation, there is something that is preventing our strength from increasing. Weiss replied, yes, that's the limit. It's also a kind of rule of heaven and earth. In popular terms, it's called the peak limit. No matter what race they are, as long as the amplitude of their transformation reaches this limit, they will be bound by the rules of heaven and earth. Then how can we break through this bondage? First of all, you have to know that your Scion transformation is a kind of protection for you when you are weak, which allows you to better fight against some unknown enemies. But this transformation is also a burden. If you can't integrate the power after this transformation into normal state, there is no way to improve it in the later stage, and this transformation will damage your vitality. Now if you want to break this bondage, you must learn to fully absorb the power after transformation so that you can use this energy in normal state. When you reach the peak in normal state, it will naturally flow smoothly and enter a new realm. A whole new realm? What is that? That's the God realm. Simply put, at this point, you can also be called a god. At this point, your life form will also change. Not only will your strength be more stable, but your lifespan will also increase significantly. Sun Wukong asked, Mr. Whis, what realm are you in now? And what realm is Lord Beerus in? You just need to know that even if you enter the realm of God, you are still far from Lord Beerus. As for me, even if 100 Beerus come together, they are no match for me. Sun Wukong and Vegeta were shocked, awesome, really awesome. Okay, let's practice hard from now on and strive to enter the divine realm as soon as possible. Sun Wukong and Vegeta rested for a while and started their own training again. The difference in their fighting power is not big now, and they can fight each other. At the same time, with the guidance of Whis, a late true god, their progress is amazing. On a planet in the Milky Way star region of the 7th universe, Tagoma is suffering from the destruction of Frisia, and Tagoma's own strength and resistance to attack are constantly improving. Okay, that's all for today's training. Go back to the nutrition cabin and recover. If you can't recover by tomorrow, I will kill you. Frisia looked at Tajima, who was already dying on the ground, with cold eyes and said mercilessly. Tajima struggled to climb back to the spaceship, but Frisia continued his training. Not long ago, Thorbay used the Earth DragonBallZ to resurrect Frisia, thinking that he could do great things, but he didn't expect that Frisia had no intention of regaining the lost territory. In the hell of the new cycle of reincarnation, Frisia has seen too many strong people and deeply realized the shortcomings of his own strength. Just before Sorb and others resurrected him, Frisia's soul was still being tortured by the red and blue demons. However, the power of the dragon was too great. Even though King Yama's new cycle of reincarnation has separated from the seventh universe and exists independently, it also pulled out Frisia's soul that was being tortured. Frisia knew that compared to the big guys in hell, he was just a scum before. Even the Goku who killed him was just a slightly stronger ant. In hell, Frisia's souls from 3 mirror universes merged, and he naturally learned many secrets of this world. At the same time, his horizons were opened and no longer limited to one galaxy. After his rebirth, Frisia knows very well that his future enemies will not be Son Goku and the others, but stronger beings. However, before that, he needs to practice well and transform his experiences in hell into combat power. The suffering of hell, but for the resurrected Frisia, it is a beautiful memory, because the trip to hell made Frisia clearly realize the diversity of this world, and because of the trials of hell, Frisia's realm is far beyond his current physical body. After 6 months of training, Frisia's life form had already been sublimated. Although he could not reach the 6th form of Adros of the 6th universe, he was already far beyond his previous self. Frisia's current combat power in his 3rd normal transformation has reached 100 billion, the peak of destruction. Once he activates a higher level of transformation, his combat power will skyrocket. The 4th transformation has a combat power of 130 billion, and the 5th transformation has a combat power of up to 180 billion. Ha ha ha, with this power, I am not afraid of even the god of destruction or Majin Buu. However, before conquering the universe, the scions of Earth must pay the price in blood first. At the same time, in the destruction of the divine world, Sun Wukong and Vegeta also finished their training in Whis' scepter space. Kakarot, this time I entered the divine realm before you. Ha ha ha, you are really just a low-level warrior. Although it has been proven more than once that Son Goku is by no means a low-level fighter, Vegeta always likes to say so. Sun Wukong has also long been accustomed to it, and now they have finally made Super 1 to Super 3 their normal state, with a combat power of 100 billion. Although they can still transform into Super Scions, that is just a habit, and they have also developed a different state of godliness. Goku's Super Red state and Vegeta's Super Blue state, one is better at lasting battles, while the other is more violent. At the same time, their transformation is no longer restricted by their peak, and they can burst out with stronger combat power. The super popular Sun Wukong's combat power has reached 150 billion. And Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta's combat power has reached 160 billion. In the duel between the two, if we look at the short term, Vegeta is stronger, but in terms of endurance, Son Goku is better. In the void of the universe, a giant spaceship was flying with Frisia on its back. Although Frisia's speed in escaping into the subspace was much faster than that of the spaceship, he was enjoying it very much. After 6 months of training, Frisia has undergone tremendous changes. If he wanted to achieve eternal life with the help of the DragonBallZ before, there is no need for that now. Frisia, who was in the divine realm, could clearly feel the sublimation of his life level. As long as he was not killed by anyone, he could survive in the world even after tens of thousands of years. But now he was only over 100 years old. Frisia believed that as long as he was given time, he could achieve immortality through practice, but at this stage it was difficult for him to improve again. The suffering or training in hell allowed Frisia to achieve the unity of physical strength and spiritual realm in just 6 months. This time, he will make it impossible for the scions on Earth to turn over. Frisia looked at his military talents and became more and more displeased. Apart from his sparring partner Tajima, the strongest one had a combat power of only around 80,000, which made Frisia feel very embarrassed. Sorb, are Frisia's troops so weak now? A short alien in combat uniform stepped forward and said cautiously, Lord Frisia, since you were defeated by the Scions, our army has been split up, and we only recruited these troops with great difficulty. Frisia's cold breath came, tell me the current distribution of forces in the Milky Way. After defeating the Scions on Earth, we will first unify the Milky Way and then march into the universe. Salbi put out the information he had prepared long ago, King Frisia, now the entire Jin Star region is almost under the control of the Big Dipper Empire. Although there are many other forces, none of them dares to compete with the Big Dipper Empire. In addition, the Earth is the planet where the Scions live. It is said that Bu also died at the hands of the Scions on Earth. King, are we really going to Earth? Frisia wagged his tail and thought, Bu. It's true that my father warned me not to mess with the god of destruction Beerus and Majin Bu. But with my current strength, even the two of them can't be my opponents. After all, my current level has completely surpassed the past. As for the Scions on Earth, although I don't want to say it, it's a bit unexpected that they can kill Bu, but they are definitely not my opponent now. I haven't heard of the Big Dipper Empire before. Could it be a new force that appeared after me? Thinking of this, Frisia asked, when did the information about the Bigo Empire appear? Sulb replied, Your Majesty, the predecessor of the Bigo Empire seems to be the Mo Empire. I don't know why, but I can't find any information about the Mo Empire. The Bigo Empire suddenly appeared 2 years ago. As soon as it appeared, it controlled more than 30% of the life planets in the Milky Way. It is very powerful. It is said that there are many strong people with a combat power of hundreds of millions. I even heard that the combat power of the strongest person is over 10 billion. Frisia was shocked. Although this level of combat power was nothing to him, it was still very important. The Demonic Empire. The Demonic Empire, why does it feel so familiar? Oh, by the way, when I merged with another me in hell, the other me seemed to be killed by the Namekians from the Demonic Empire. Could it be that the two time and space have merged together now? Hahaha, interesting. I originally wanted to get rid of the Scions on Earth and then find a way to go to another time and space to destroy the Demonic Empire. It seems that during the years I was in hell, a lot of interesting things happened in the human world. Sol Bei, change the route and go to the Bigo Empire. I want to see how powerful the Bigo Empire is. To Frisia, the Scions on Earth were nothing to be afraid of. Instead, he found the Big Dipper Empire somewhat interesting. Ah, my king, you're not going to Earth. Frisia glanced at Sorby, the Scions on Earth can be wiped out at any time, let's go to the Biga Empire first. This glance made Solby feel like he had fallen into an abyss, and he quickly replied, yes, my king. However, one day later, in a void in the universe, Frisia's spaceship suddenly sounded an alarm, and then an extremely strong energy wave rushed straight towards the spaceship. Except for Frisia, all the people died in the void. Who? Unfortunately, in a vacuum environment, Frisia's voice cannot be transmitted. Although Frisia has reached the divine realm, he still cannot sense the energy and can only rely on his naked eyes and body to be alert. In the void, a figure slowly appeared. Who else could it be but Bigo? The powerful aura, even if Frisia couldn't sense the existence of the aura, he knew that the other party was definitely not weak, and at least no one he had seen could match his combat power. Are you Frisia? Frisia heard the voice of Big Star in his mind. Who are you? Why did you destroy my spaceship and kill my subordinates? Do you want to surrender to me? Big Star's voice was devoid of any emotion. To join you. Frisia, instead of hiding after resurrection, you want to come to my Big Star Empire to cause trouble. Do you really think this is still your era? As for Frisia, Big Star naturally knew about it. You should know that Frisia's brother Kvera had once merged with Big Star's main brain. But Big Star did not expect that Frisia in front of him was already so powerful, but it was not enough to run wild in their Big Star Empire. As for how to find Frisia's whereabouts, it is not too easy for the Big Star Empire's technology. If they want, Big Star Empire can even directly control Frisia's spaceship. Who are you from the Big Gao Empire? What about the Namekian and the Scion? Bigao replied, go. I'll teach you a lesson this time. If those guys show up, you won't even have a chance to fight back. The four people that Bigo was talking about were Saito, Bu, Magna, and Bardock, but Frisia obviously did not agree with his kind words. Frisia looked at the Bighorn on the other side and said, oh wow. It seems that you, the Bighorn Empire, are really joking. Or do you think that I am not qualified enough to be your enemy now? The top leaders of the Bigao Empire had already discovered the changes in the Milky Way star field a long time ago. After all, the space-time detectors in the Empire still exist, and from the feedback and intelligence collected from them, they all know that the current Milky Way star field is a fusion of two mirror spacetimes. Although Frisia is strong, he is not enough for the current Bigo Empire. This time with the fusion of the two mirror time and space, Bigo naturally got a great opportunity. It has completely gotten rid of the shackles of artificial intelligence life and become a real flesh and blood life. In 6 months, Bigo has reintegrated those bodies of his and pushed his combat power to a higher peak. Although he lost a lot of energy in the process, his body has become more plastic, and he can also improve his strength through practice. Now he has reached the limit of destruction. At the same time, due to the special nature of Bigo, his combat power is far more powerful than the general limit of destruction. The reason why he didn't want to fight Frisia was simply because he was afraid of attracting the attention of Whis, the god of destruction. Frisia obviously didn't know about this, and it was impossible for his subordinates to collect important intelligence about the Bigo Empire. The information asymmetry doomed Frisia to tragedy. Higeo looked at Frisia calmly. You are indeed not qualified. Even in your ultimate form, the 5 transformations demon body, you are only a slightly stronger ant. In order to get Frisia to leave, Bigo told the truth honestly. Although Bigo was now a living being of flesh and blood, he had just completed the transformation not long ago. He didn't know that his words directly ignited Frisia's anger. Ant? You actually called me an ant. Ha ha ha, it seems that I have been away from this world for so long that you have all forgotten the fear of being dominated by me. Frisia now had only one thought in his mind, which was to beat the unethical guy opposite him to the ground. A cold breath came from Frisia. Bai Gao was puzzled. He was clearly trying to persuade her in a nice way, but you didn't listen. He even looked like he wanted to fight her. He said calmly, it seems like you have to fight. If so, then go ahead. Before Higashige could reply, Frisia had already exploded. Although the two seemed to be hundreds of meters apart, in an instant, Frisia was in front of Higashige and punched him directly in the abdomen. Go to hell. The moment the fist touched the abdomen, a strong shock energy wave burst out. Oh no. What's going on? It's an afterimage. The shock wave passed through the void of the universe and rushed directly to a desolate planet not far away. After being hit, the planet disintegrated directly. But Frisia was not happy at all. If it were in the past, he would definitely appreciate this rare fireworks, but now. At this speed, it's too slow. At this moment, a voice came from Frisia's mind, and the next moment, his whole body seemed to fall apart and was knocked away by a punch. What? How is that possible? Several thousand meters away, the impact was finally resolved. Frisia covered his stomach with one hand and looked at Big Dipper in the distance in disbelief. You, who are you? The demonic martial empire cannot possibly have a master like you. Higashi's voice sounded in Frisia's mind again, you are wrong. There are at least 4 people in the demon empire who are stronger than me, and 3 of them can kill me with just one finger. Although the fight just now lasted only a moment, Frisia already felt the threat of death, and knew that even if he entered the 5th demon form, he would not be a match for the person opposite him. Impossible, impossible. Frisia couldn't believe it. The man in front of him was already incredibly strong, but he was told that there were at least 4 people stronger than him. This made Frisia, who had made rapid progress, fall from the clouds to the abyss. Nothing is impossible. As for me, you can call me Bigo, and I advise you not to cause trouble in my Bigo empire, otherwise I will go there and kill you as soon as possible. After saying this, Big Gao disappeared right in front of Frisia. It's gone. This is teleportation. Sun Wukong's skill. Frisia already believed that if he didn't know what was going on, the man who claimed to be taller than him would definitely rush to him in the first place. To be honest, Frisia didn't have the courage to deal with the man just now. But letting me go was your biggest mistake. I never thought there would be such a powerful person in this universe. Once I have dealt with the scions on Earth, I will practice in seclusion again. He had previously learned from Solb that the current solar system was not under the jurisdiction of the Big Dipper Empire, so Frisia was not afraid that Big Dipper would come out to stop him. As for the lack of a spaceship, for Frisia who had already reached the peak of destruction, having a spaceship was no longer of any significance. Without the burden of his subordinates, Frisia directly increased his speed to the extreme, and soon entered the subspace, heading towards the Earth. At this time, Goku and Vegeta were still destroying the God Realm and practicing with Whis, unaware that the Earth was about to face a life and death crisis. A few days later, in the Earth Temple, although there were no more positions of gods, Piccolo and Dandy still lived in the temple. But now the servant of God Bobo was gone, and even the sage Karen was no longer in Karen Tower. Suddenly, Piccolo looked up at the sky. Just now, a heart-pounding feeling came over him, and a powerful and suffocating evil aura suddenly descended on the earth. Uncle Piccolo, what's wrong? A powerful evil aura has just arrived. It looks like the earth is in danger again. At the same time, all the Dragon Ball warriors on Earth sensed this extremely powerful evil aura and looked in the same direction at the same time. Son Gohan was studying at home when Piccolo's voice suddenly rang in his mind, Gohan, where are your father and the others? Father and Vegeta have been training in destroying the divine world and have not returned to Earth for more than 6 months. Uncle Piccolo, what is this aura? Piccolo's voice rang out in Gohan's mind, it's definitely Frisia's aura, but it's many times stronger than before. Although Frisia could not sense chi, he knew that his appearance would soon be discovered by the strong people on Earth. Standing alone in a wasteland, Frisia began to imagine the expression of Son Goku when he saw him, and what means he would use to retaliate against Son Goku and others. Not long after, the strong men of the Earth arrived at Frisia's location, and they could feel the oppression from the soul from afar. Tien Shinhan and Yapei had never seen Frisia before. Is this Frisia? This aura is too scary. Although Piccolo has experienced many ups and downs and his combat power has now reached 10 billion, he found that he was still so weak when facing Frisia. As for Son Gohan, he has neglected training for many years and his combat power can only barely reach 8 billion after his transformation. Not to mention the others, the strongest is only number 17 and number 18 with a combat power of 5 billion, which can't play any role in this kind of battle. Moreover, the two were taken away shortly after the fusion of the two mirror time and space, and are not on the Earth at all now. As if sensing the arrival of the Earth's strong men, Frisia suddenly opened his eyes. Oh, why are you the only ones here? Where's Son Goku? Piccolo, as the strongest among the group, said, Frisia, I didn't expect you to be resurrected. Some time ago, the DragonBallZ of the Earth were used by someone. I think it must be your subordinates. Where are your subordinates? Piccolo was wondering why a man who cared so much about his reputation as Frisia would come to Earth alone. It would have been fine if he didn't mention his subordinates. As soon as he mentioned them, Frisia remembered the man who claimed to be taller than him in the void of the universe a few days ago. Frisia was in a bad mood, so he naturally wanted to kill someone to establish his authority. Shut up and answer me. Where's Son Goku? I'll count to 3. If you don't answer me, I'll randomly choose one of you and send you to a day trip to hell. The most frightening thing is that the air suddenly becomes quiet. Piccolo was wondering what was going on. He was just asking his subordinates. Why was he angry? But Piccolo still replied, I'm so sorry. Son is not on Earth now. I'm afraid you will be disappointed. Frisia had never expected that when he came to seek revenge on Son Goku, he would not be there. That's a shame. I'll send you off first. As soon as he finished speaking, a Qigong bullet was fired. Careful. Boom. When Jiaozi arrived, he was blown to ashes without saying a word. Jiaozi. Ah. Tien Shinhan originally didn't plan to bring Jiaozi with him, but Jiaozi persuaded him that if the other party really destroyed the Earth, they would die no matter where they were, so he asked Jiaozi to follow him. However, he didn't expect that Frisia's evil was far more terrifying than they thought, and he would start killing people at the slightest disagreement. In fact, it's not Frisia's fault. In the past, Frisia would not have personally taken action against these small characters, but a few days ago, his subordinates were directly killed in space by a single blow from Big Gao, and even he himself might have died if the other party hadn't spared him. Tien Shinhan has been growing over the years. Although he is not as perverted as Son Goku and the others, he also has a combat power of nearly 1 billion. The death of Jiaozi made Tien Shinhan explode. Frisia, die. With a roar, Tien Shinhan's Qigong Cannon was activated. Super Qigong Cannon. No longer caring about his own life, Tien Shinhan burned his own health points and transformed into the strongest state of Qigong Cannon. A shockwave of more than 6 billion combat power shot directly at Frisia. Of course, Tien Shinhan was desperate enough to suppress even the second stage of Sil, and now the attack that burned his life was even more powerful. Frisia naturally noticed the other person's reaction. Oh, not bad, such a powerful attack was launched all at once. Piccolo and others also displayed their unique skills. Super Magic Light Killing Cannon. Kamehameha Wave. Fuck the Air Bomb. Qi Yuan Zhan. Frisia did not interrupt everyone's performance. He wanted everyone to die in despair. Protective Shield. Several attacks directly hit Frisia's shield, and a mushroom cloud exploded into the sky. After the attack, everyone seemed to be exhausted. After a while, the smoke dissipated, and Frisia was seen without any scars from the battle. In fact, with Frisia's current strength, he would not be injured even if he did not use the shield, but Frisia did not like other people's attacks hitting him. Piccolo, how is that possible? Is he a monster? Krillin, impossible, the Earth is finished. Gohan, Dad, where are you? Come back soon. Lu Ping, too strong, how can there be such a person? Tien Shinhan, cheer up. But after seeing Tien Shinhan's life-burning attack, his eyes had already dispersed. Frisia's voice came, oh wow. Is this all you can do? So disappointing. I've given you the chance, and it's my turn to attack next. Frisia's triangular eyes looked at everyone and suddenly found Gohan with a golden aura. Oh, you are the little brat from back then. I didn't expect you to become a Super Saiyan too. What a pity, all Saiyans deserve to die. With a flick of his fingers, a huge energy ball quickly attacked Son Gohan. Suddenly, a figure blocked Son Gohan's way. Boom! Ah, Uncle Piccolo. Why? But at this time, Piccolo no longer had much energy left, and he said to Son Gohan with difficulty, "Run, run." Then his body fell down and he lost his breath. Ah! Uncle Piccolo. No. Why? At this moment, Son Gohan's anger ignited, and in an instant, he suddenly realized how ridiculous his persistence over the years was. Scholar. Ha ha ha. If time could be turned back, Gohan would never think about being a scholar again, and would definitely practice well. Frisia's voice sounded, "Humph, you dare to change the order of my killing without authorization, but next time, let's see who can save you." The next moment, Frisia condensed another energy ball and shot it towards Son Gohan. "Gohan, run away." Two voices sounded at the same time. Krillin and Yamchak completely stopped caring about their own lives and stood in front of Son Gohan. They were not Piccolo. Krillin's combat power was only about 1000 W at most, and Yamchak's combat power was less than 100 W. The two men's full efforts to stop it were but a futile effort. They lasted less than 2 breaths before they were reduced to ashes. However, it also bought time for Son Gohan. The angry Son Gohan dodged it with difficulty before the energy ball arrived. "Humph, you overestimate your own abilities. It's just a pointless struggle." Looking at Son Gohan, who had been severely injured by the energy impact, Frisia showed a cruel smile. "Don't worry, after you die, I will send all the humans on Earth down there to be buried with you, and then wait for your father Son Wukong to come back and send them down there to accompany you." Half of Son Gohan's arm was almost vaporized, and his heart was filled with regret. Why? Why doesn't he practice properly? Every time, someone else is protecting him. Unfortunately, King Frisia never gave him any chance. Oh, ho, ho. Despair. That's the expression. But in order to save you from suffering, you still have to go to hell. As Gohan looked desperate, Frisia once again emitted a beam of energy that pierced directly through Gohan's heart, causing him to lose his last chance of survival. Son Wukong, I wonder what you will feel when you come back and find that there is no life on Earth. Will you feel pain? Sadness? Angry? Frisia muttered to himself, but his hands never stopped. Energy bombs kept flying into the distance. Violent explosions kept occurring on Earth, and there were howlings everywhere. But now almost all the warriors on Earth were dead, and Son Goku and Vegeta were practicing in the Destruction God realm and had no idea what was happening on Earth. About half an hour later, nearly 99% of the human population on Earth had lost their lives. During this period, Little Trunks and Little Goten were also not spared. The combat power of the so-called Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks after the fusion was only 20 billion. Facing Frisia, he was no match at all. Master Roshi died, Chi-Chi died, and Videl also died protecting her daughter. Only Xiaofang survived the explosion because she was protected by Videl and had Saiyan blood. Inside the temple, although Dandy was not a god, he could feel that humans in the lower world were almost extinct, and he didn't know what to do. After destroying the god realm, Vegeta, who was training, suddenly became distracted. At the same time, Son Wukong also felt as if something important was being lost. Kakarot, I feel like something has happened. Why do I suddenly feel such a sharp pain in my heart? What, Vegeta, you feel the same way? Both of them realized that something might have happened in the outside world, but because they were in Whis' scepter space, they couldn't contact Whis. Suddenly, both of them burst out with their whole body aura at the same time, hoping that Whis would find it. Whis was communicating with Beerus. Lord Beerus, these two are great. I'm afraid they will be able to break through to a deeper level if they come out of seclusion again. Beerus didn't know what Whis was thinking. Whis, you don't really want them to become gods of destruction, do you? Whis gave his signature effeminate laugh. If something happens to Lord Beerus someday, we should at least leave 2 backup gods of destruction candidates for Universe 7. At this moment, Whis sensed the vibration of the scepter space. Well, what's going on? The two of them have only been in there for 1 day. Could it be that they broke through so quickly? Whis waved his right hand, a vortex appeared in the air, and a scepter slowly appeared. At the same time, Son Goku and Vegeta also appeared. Seeing the two of them look pale, Whis asked, what's wrong with you two? Vegeta stepped forward and said, Mr. Whis, please take a look at the current situation of the Earth. Kakarot and I feel like something big has happened on Earth, and we are very worried. When they reach this stage, they will naturally have a sense of things that are closely related to them. Whis held the scepter and quickly chanted a spell. The image of the Earth appeared in the air. Something really happened. Oh my, it seems that there are almost no living people on the Earth. However, Sun Wukong and Vegeta were in a terrible state. The whole Earth was in such a miserable state, with fireworks everywhere and dead bodies left everywhere. Mr. Whis, please check on my Universal Capsule Group. The scene changed, and the entire Universal Capsule Group had also been flattened to the ground, without a single living person. Vegeta almost fainted on the spot, but luckily Sun Wukong was quick to support Vegeta. Mr. Whis, can you tell me who did this? Then Whis chanted a spell, and the pictures kept switching, from Frieza to the Earth, to Piccolo and others being slaughtered by Frieza, and then to Frieza indiscriminately releasing energy bombs, destroying most of the life on Earth. Son Goku roared, Frieza. It's Frieza. Damn it. Vegeta also recovered his breath at this time. Kakarot, return to Earth immediately, I want to kill Frieza once and for all. The two men's brains were already dominated by anger. Mr. Whis, get rid of you and send us to Earth. Whis said, it will take me about 35 minutes to get you there. During this time, we cannot be sure whether Frieza is still on Earth. If he leaves Earth, with his current strength, even I will have a hard time finding him. Vegeta said angrily, Kakarot, can't you teleport? Sun Wukong said helplessly, but there is no life on Earth, and it is too far away, so we can't capture the energy there at all. At the critical moment, your teleportation has problems. What's the point of coming here? Oh, right, feel the aura of that guy Frieza. After destroying the God Realm, Vegeta, who was training, suddenly became distracted. At the same time, Sun Wukong also felt as if something important was being lost. Kakarot, I feel like something has happened. Why do I suddenly feel such a sharp pain in my heart? What, Vegeta, you feel the same way? Both of them realized that something might have happened in the outside world, but because they were in Whis' scepter space, they couldn't contact Whis. Suddenly, both of them burst out with their whole body aura at the same time, hoping that Whis would find it. Whis was communicating with Beerus. Lord Beerus, these two are great. I'm afraid they will be able to break through to a deeper level if they come out of seclusion again. Beerus didn't know what Whis was thinking. Whis, you don't really want them to become gods of destruction, do you? Whis gave his signature effeminate laugh. If something happens to Lord Beerus someday, we should at least leave two backup gods of destruction candidates for Universe 7. At this moment, Whis sensed the vibration of the scepter space. Well, what's going on? The two of them have only been in there for one day. Could it be that they broke through so quickly? Whis waved his right hand, a vortex appeared in the air, and a scepter slowly appeared. At the same time, Son Goku and Vegeta also appeared. Seeing the two of them look pale, Whis asked, what's wrong with you two? Vegeta stepped forward and said, Mr. Whis, please take a look at the current situation of the Earth. Kakarot and I feel like something big has happened on Earth, and we are very worried. When they reach this stage, they will naturally have a sense of things that are closely related to them. Whis held the scepter and quickly chanted a spell. The image of the Earth appeared in the air. Something really happened. Oh my, it seems that there are almost no living people on the Earth. However, Sun Wukong and Vegeta were in a terrible state. The whole Earth was in such a miserable state, with fireworks everywhere and dead bodies left everywhere. Mr. Whis, please check on my Universal Capsule Group. The scene changed, and the entire Universal Capsule Group had also been flattened to the ground, without a single living person. Vegeta almost fainted on the spot, but luckily Sun Wukong was quick to support Vegeta. Mr. Whis, can you tell me who did this? Then Whis chanted a spell, and the pictures kept switching, from Frieza to the Earth, to Piccolo and others being slaughtered by Frieza, and then to Frieza indiscriminately releasing energy bombs, destroying most of the life on Earth. Son Goku roared, Frieza. It's Frieza. Damn it. Vegeta also recovered his breath at this time. Kakarot, return to Earth immediately, I want to kill Frieza once and for all. The two men's brains were already dominated by anger. Mr. Whis, get rid of you and send us to Earth. Whis said, it will take me about 35 minutes to get you there. During this time, we cannot be sure whether Frieza is still on Earth. If he leaves Earth, with his current strength, even I will have a hard time finding him. Vegeta said angrily, Kakarot, can't you teleport? Sun Wukong said helplessly, but there is no life on Earth, and it is too far away, so we can't capture the energy there at all. At the critical moment, your teleportation has problems. What's the point of coming here? Oh, right, feel the aura of that guy Frieza. Frieza didn't want Goku and the others to be able to retract their sword aura. After asking Whis about the location of the Earth, Goku soon felt an extremely evil aura. We've got it, Vegeta, let's go. Vegeta no longer worried about anything at this time, and directly grabbed Sun Wukong's shoulder with one hand. Then Sun Wukong activated his skills and instantly disappeared in the world of destruction. Beerus came forward and asked, Frieza was dead, how did he come back to life? Whis shook the scepter gently, and a picture appeared. So that's it. His subordinates used the DragonBallZ from Earth to revive Frieza. Can the two of them handle him? I think that guy's strength has improved a lot. Whis said, why, Lord Beerus, you want to go and see it? Beerus wanted to send Whis away, but when Whis said this, he had no choice but to reply, Whis, why don't you go down to the underworld and see for yourself? If these two are defeated, I will personally take action and destroy Frieza. Whis said, let's go. If I had known, I would have used Sun Wukong's instant teleportation. Hey, instant teleportation is really convenient, but it's a pity that you need a spatial talent to learn it. The entire Earth has become a dead place, sure a purgatory. Frieza slowly flew into the sky, and an energy ball that was enough to reduce the entire solar system to ashes was slowly forming. It has been a long time since Goku and Vegeta appeared, and Frieza was not going to wait for them to come back. He saw the planet-destroying bomb slowly passing through the atmosphere and continuously falling towards the Earth. Destroy it. As for Sun Wukong, I will kill him later. However, at this moment, two figures suddenly appeared, and then roared, Frieza. You really pissed me off this time. Vegeta transformed directly into Super Saiyan Blue and stopped making tentative attacks, while Sun Wukong also transformed into Super Saiyan Red and quickly flashed under the planet-destroying bomb. He also used the Super Kamehameha wave to bounce the planet-destroying bomb back into space, where it exploded. Frieza did not expect that Son Goku and Vegeta would suddenly appear. Frieza, who did not perform the fifth transformation, was immediately suppressed by Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He was knocked to the ground by a punch from the sky, creating a deep pit with a radius of several thousand meters. Sun Wukong and Vegeta were already furious at this point. They didn't care about whether the competition was fair or not. They joined forces and launched the strongest attack into the deep pit. Frieza reacted underground and realized that in his current state he was no match for the combined forces of Sun Bei and the others. He quickly transformed into his fifth form, the demon form, and an evil aura emanated from him. He was able to hold his own against Sun Bei and the other man, and the two sides persisted for a full minute. Finally, the two conflicting energies exploded, and the energy scattered, blowing up nearly half of the already devastated Earth. The smoke cleared, and the three finally met officially. Frieza's cold voice came, ha ha ha, Son Goku, how about it, are you satisfied with the gift I gave you? To be honest, Frieza was really shocked. He originally thought that although Son Goku and the other two would be very strong, he did not expect that they were already so strong. Although in a one-on-one fight, Frieza was not afraid of either of them, but when fighting one against two, he was not completely sure. The three of them were almost at the threshold of destruction, just one final push away, but Frieza was clearly closer than the other two. Sun Wukong was furious, Frieza, if you have anything to say, come to me. You are taking your anger out on the Earth. How can you be considered a strong man? Vegeta was also watching anxiously from the side. You know, Bulma and Trunks were already dead, which made Vegeta furious. Kakarot, stop talking nonsense, Frieza, give me your life. Under the control of anger, Vegeta's originally blue aura actually tends to turn into dark blue. Frieza didn't expect that Vegeta would not even say a word of hate, but would just start a fight. With his powerful force, he punched Frieza hundreds of meters away, and at the same time, Qigong bullets continued to shoot at him. Son Goku also didn't say much because of the deaths of Gohan, Chi-Chi, Goten, Krillin, and Piccolo, and his red aura turned into purple. Sun Bei and the other two teamed up to beat Frieza so hard that he could only barely defend himself. Damn it, I didn't expect you two to team up. Sun Bei and the other two were fighting out of anger, while Frieza had to fight to save his life. The three of them fought from the sky to the ground, and then from the ground to the sky. The space was torn apart from time to time, and now they were constantly switching between real and subspace. The battle lasted for nearly half an hour, and both sides were gasping for breath. Vegeta, Frieza is much stronger than we thought. I saw it coming a long time ago. I didn't expect the resurrected Frieza to be so difficult to deal with. The two of them couldn't believe it. Frieza couldn't believe it either. You know, he had to go through decades of suffering in hell to improve himself quickly after resurrection. But what about the two people on the opposite side? They had been in the human world and had reached his current level. Read the error-free version on 610.910 Book Bar. 610.9 Book Bar first publishes a novel. No, we must not let these two live this time, otherwise next time even I will find it difficult to suppress them. The same psychological activities also appeared in Sunbae and the other person. Sunbae and the other person looked at each other and saw the seriousness in each other's expression. If it were in the past, Goku might have spared Frisia's life, but seeing the devastation of the earth and the death of his relatives, even Goku wanted to kill Frisia for the first time. Kill. The three of them started fighting again. Facing the combined forces of Sunbae and the other two, Frisia could only defend himself while thinking of countermeasures. At some point, Whis had brought Beerus to Earth. Watching the three people fighting, Whis said, "It seems that Frisia is very strong. He can actually fight against two people like this even when Son Goku and Vegeta joined forces." Beerus said, "So what? In the end, you're just someone else's toy." Whis glanced at Beerus and knew that Beerus was complaining. For some reason, Whis always felt that Beerus was strange recently, as if he was hiding something from him, but he didn't point it out. On the other hand, facing the combined forces of Sunbae and the other two, even Frisia gradually couldn't hold on. Damn it, the two wild monkeys have become so strong. No, if they continue like this, I will be killed by them. Sun and Bae also consumed a lot of energy, especially Vegeta. His Super Blue transformation had already caused him to fight violently for nearly 40 minutes in a row, and even he was a little exhausted. The two teamed up again, and Frisia was once again knocked thousands of meters away before he resolved the impact. "Frisia, I will not let you go today no matter what." Vegeta also shouted angrily, "You killed my Bulma, killed my Trunks, Frisia, give me your life." The two were furious, and Frisia was also furious. "Assholes, I didn't expect that the two of you could be so terrifying together. But if you want to kill me, you are not qualified." The three knew that if they continued fighting like this, no one would be able to do anything to anyone else, and the two sides had become mortal enemies who would fight to the death. They were secretly gathering energy, preparing to kill the other side with one move. Sun Yu and the other man looked at each other and launched a joint attack at the same time. Ultimate Flash Kamehameha Wave. On the other side, Frisia used his immature trick. Supernova Destruction Energy Ball. Sunbae's special moves quickly merged together to form a super strong shock wave wrapped in lightning, and Frisia's Supernova Destructive Energy Ball was also shot out at this moment. Boom! The two energies collided rapidly in midair, and the entire space was constantly shattered. Cracks appeared around the collision. In the distance, the god of destruction Beerus was shocked. How come this energy is so similar to the destructive energy, although it is still very shallow? What's wrong with Whis? Whis also discovered the destructive energy used by Frisia, but he knew clearly that there was definitely no such person as Frisia among the 12 gods of destruction. After all, Whis is an angel that only appeared in modern times, and he is not very clear about the source of destructive energy. The two looked at each other. Frisia could not be left alive. He had actually cultivated destructive energy and would become a disaster sooner or later. On the other hand, the combined energy of Goku and Vegeta is also not to be underestimated. It is on par with Frisia's destructive energy. To be honest, it is gradually suppressing Frisia's destructive energy. Frisia was originally wrestling with Sunbae, when he suddenly felt a palpitation in his heart and looked up, meeting Beerus' golden pupils. "What, Beerus?" Sunbae and the others took advantage of Frisia's distraction and suddenly released their energy again. "Oh no! It's bad!" The two energies, which were already stagnant, were instantly suppressed by Sunbae and the others, and flew towards Frisia at a very fast speed. Moreover, they were locked by his aura and could not escape at all. Ah! Seeing that the combined energy ball was about to hit him, Frisia's body changed again, and an aura even more powerful than before emanated from his body. At the critical moment, Frisia evolved again, activated the blood of the ancient ice demon, and transformed into the sixth form of the ice demon. Frisia, whose strength increased dramatically, finally got rid of the energy before the attack came and successfully escaped the possibility of being killed. Feeling the power surging in his body, Frisia quickly launched a counterattack and suppressed Sunbae and the other man who were already exhausted. Sunbae and the others thought they had the victory, but they never expected that Frisia would break through between life and death and evolve to a higher level in one fell swoop. In addition, the two of them had already consumed a lot of energy just now, and they were soon completely suppressed by Frisia. If it weren't for Beerus standing by and making Frisia feel a little afraid, and if it weren't for the fact that they had just evolved to the 6th level form and were not very familiar with the explosive power, Sun Bei and the others would probably have been killed by Frisia. How is that possible? Frisia suppressed Sun Bei and the other two while laughing wildly. Ha 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 ha, I didn't expect that in such a life and death crisis, I would actually activate the ancient bloodline in my body. It looks like you two are doomed today. Sun Bei and the other man both had solemn expressions. You know, Frisia was able to fight 2 people alone before, but now the situation has become extremely bad. The two had to burst out their energy again and release their body's potential before they could barely withstand Frisia's first wave of attacks. Beerus appeared on the battlefield at some point. What a shame, 2 against 1 and still being suppressed. Frisia thought Beerus was going to interfere in the fight between him and Sun Bei, but now that he had just activated the ancient frozen demon bloodline, his fear of Beerus was eliminated. God of Destruction Beerus, are you going to interfere with my revenge? Beerus didn't care about Frisia at first, but Frisia's attitude made Beerus very unhappy. What, Frisia, do you think you dare to disrespect me just because you have broken through the limit of destruction? An aura that was countless times stronger than Frisia's suddenly locked onto Frisia. Facing Beerus's cold golden pupils, Frisia suddenly realized that even though he had reached the 6th order demon form, he still felt a palpitating feeling from deep in his soul. Realizing that he was far from being a match for Beerus, Frisia said submissively, Lord Beerus, I am only here to avenge Son Goku. You are not really going to interfere in our fight, are you? Beerus gave Frisia a cold look. I have no interest in the hatred between you two. After saying that, Beerus stepped aside and left the battlefield to the 3 of us again. Frisia wants revenge on Son Goku, and now the same thing is true for Son Goku and Bei. Thinking of the countless humans on Earth being slaughtered by Frisia, thinking of the tragic deaths of Tien Shinhan, Gyoza, Yamcha, Piccolo, Krillin and others, thinking of Chi-Chi being blown to pieces by a Qigong bullet falling from the sky at home, thinking of the fusion of Trunks and Son Goten being tortured to death by Frisia, and thinking of Gohan's helpless look before his death. Sun Wukong's anger erupted again. Frisia, if you want revenge, just come to me directly. Why did you kill Chi-Chi? Why did you kill my son? Why did you slaughter all the creatures on the earth? And because of the life and death of Trunks and Bulma, Vegeta once again felt a surge of energy flowing out of his body. Sun Bei and the other man were finally completely enraged. Burned by this rage, Vegeta finally transformed again. His originally blue hair completely turned into dark blue, and his whole body emanated a dark blue aura. Sun Wukong also transformed again. His originally red hair completely turned purple red, and the red aura around his body also turned purple red. Frisia saw the changes in the two and said, I didn't expect you could transform, but you are still no match for me. Soon, very soon I will send you to hell to reunite with your families. Vegeta took the lead in launching an attack, rushing forward and fighting with Frisia. Deep pits continued to appear on the ground, and mountains were constantly flattened in the battle between the two. Son Goku was not idle at this time either. Now neither of them had any plans to fight alone. They only had one idea in their minds, to kill Frisia. Sun Wukong continued to gather energy, and this energy had surpassed the peak of destruction and reached the middle stage of destruction limit, with a powerful combat power of nearly 300 billion. On the other hand, Vegeta alone was unable to fight against Frisia. He was severely injured and vomited blood, and his left arm was broken. Ha ha ha, Vegeta, it looks like you're no longer able to hold on. I'll send you down to reunite with your son. Although Vegeta in the deep blue state is already infinitely close to the limit of destruction, he is still far behind Frisia who has already reached the limit of destruction. It is already very good that he can fight Frisia for hundreds of rounds without dying. Vegeta was unwilling, but there was no other way. Kakarot, it's up to you. Frisia flew into the sky, a black ball of destructive light quickly condensed and grew larger at his fingertips. He looked at Vegeta, who was already badly injured and barely standing, and said, it's over. Vegeta. This is my newfound energy, the Death Destroyer Bomb. Frisia threw his finger downwards, and the death-destroying bomb flew directly towards Vegeta on the ground. On the other side, Son Goku's ultimate move was finally ready. Son Goku's energy turned into a real purple-red dragon, and Son Goku himself merged into the dragon, facing Frisia's death-destroying bomb at an unimaginable speed. Dragon Fist, Explosion. Frisia, give me your life. Sun Wukong rode the purple-red dragon, directly penetrated Frisia's death-destroying bomb, and rushed towards Frisia at high speed. What? Impossible, my death-destroying bomb was penetrated so easily. Frisia crossed his arms and was locked by the purple-red dragon's aura. He had no way of dodging and could only choose to take it head-on. A powerful penetrating force directly penetrated Frisia's body, and Son Goku passed directly through Frisia's body. Frisia turned his head with difficulty. The lower half of his body was completely broken, and both arms were also broken. Only the head above the shoulders remained. After using this most powerful attack, Sun Wukong was no longer able to use his strength and fell straight to the ground, losing consciousness during the descent. However, Frisia didn't know all this. Frisia, who was left with only a head, had a blank brain and kept spitting out blood from his mouth. Below, Vegeta used up his last bit of strength to catch the falling Son Goku, but he no longer had the strength to attack Frisia, who only had a head left. The air suddenly became quiet. At least a minute later, Frisia came to his senses and realized that he no longer had a chance to kill Sun Bei and the other two. Moreover, his strength also dropped to the freezing point, barely retaining a few million combat power. Run, or I will definitely die here. A voice in Frisia's mind urged him, and then Frisia, with only a head, turned into a ray of light and quickly flew into space. On the ground, Son Goku was still unconscious. Vegeta used up his last bit of strength and threw an energy ball at Frisia, but because Frisia was already seriously injured, he had no way of hitting him. On the other side, Beerus asked, Whis, should we not care? Whis didn't expect things to turn out like this. Don't worry about it, let's go see how Goku and Vegeta are doing, they seem to be seriously injured. After escaping into the void of space, Frisia fell into a coma for several meters. His head moved with the meteorites, and it was unknown whether he would die immediately or have a chance to survive. Time flies, half a year has passed in the blink of an eye. After Frisia's extermination campaign half a year ago, there are now less than 20,000 people left on Earth, and reconstruction work is currently underway on Earth. Today, the entire environment of the Earth is not suitable for human habitation in many places due to the Great Destruction half a year ago. It took Sun Wukong and Vegeta more than 2 months to gather the remaining humans on Earth together, find an environment more suitable for human survival, and begin to rebuild their home on Earth. In the past 6 months, Goku and Vegeta have stopped destroying the Divine Realm for training and have begun to guard the Earth silently, while also waiting for the revival of the DragonBallZ. Ever since the Namekians moved away from the Earth collectively, because King Kai had lost contact, Sun Wukong had no way of finding the planet they were living on in the vast universe. In the Temple of Heaven, Son Goku, Vegeta and the surviving Den gathered together, along with a 7-year-old baby, who was Gohan's child. When Frisia was killing people on Earth, Videl protected the child with her life, allowing him to survive. After Sun Bei and others forced Frisia into the void of the universe, they found the only remaining bloodline of the Scions on Earth through the sensing of Chi. Both Goku and Vegeta loved this baby very much. At the same time, after this incident, Goku's character changed and he was no longer as naive as before. The 7 Dragon Balls have been placed in the Celestial Square. In order to prevent the Dragon Balls from being used by people with ulterior motives to do bad things again, Dandy specially changed the Dragon Ball's summoning spell into Namekian. As Dandy chanted the spell, a Chinese dragon appeared in the heavens. However, Sun Wukong and his companions were afraid of causing panic among the surviving humans on Earth, so they chose to summon it at night. The dragon hovered above the temple, and one of its heads slowly lowered down. Whoever has collected all 7 Dragon Balls, please tell me your original wish. I can help you make any wish come true. You can make 3 wishes. Sun Wukong looked at the dragon in the sky, not knowing whether to be glad or hate it. Because of the dragon, Frisia was resurrected, and also because of the dragon, Gohan and others had the chance to be reborn. Slowly calming down, Sun Wukong expressed the first wish he had prepared long ago. Shenlong, I hope you can help us revive the creatures that died on Earth because of Frisia more than half a year ago. Can this wish be fulfilled? Looking at the dragon, Sun Wukong was a little nervous, fearing that the dragon would not be able to fulfill his wish. If that happened, he really didn't know what to do. The dragon's eyes flashed red and he said, no, there are too many dead people. Moreover, because the Samsara world is perfect, most of the human beings have been reincarnated. Only a few creatures are still in hell because of their obsession or evil deeds and have not been reincarnated. Sun Wukong and Vegeta were confused. What is the Samsara realm? Sun Wukong asked, excuse me, what is the Samsara realm? And why can't I sense the king of the underworld now? The dragon replied, excuse me, is this your wish? Vegeta was afraid that Son Goku would waste the opportunity to make a wish, so he quickly stopped him and said, Kakarot, first ask which of our friends can be resurrected. After what happened half a year ago, Sun Wukong would no longer be stupid enough to ask such a meaningless question. He then looked at Shenlong and changed his wish directly, Shenlong, I hope you can resurrect the martial artist who died because of Frisia half a year ago. Taking advantage of a loophole in the rules, Sun Wukong made a vague wish and looked at the dragon with expectant eyes. Shenlong's eyes glowed red again. Among the martial artists who died because of Frisia, only Son Gohan and Piccolo have not yet been reincarnated. The other martial artists have already been reincarnated. Vegeta was shocked and quickly stepped forward to ask, "Where is Trunks? Has he reincarnated as well? And Son Goten?" Shenlong glanced at Vegeta and said, "They have already been reincarnated." "I know what you want to say. Your relatives, except for Son Gohan because of his obsession and Piccolo because of his sins, have all been reincarnated." Sun Wukong and Vegeta were depressed, especially Vegeta, who destroyed the God Realm to practice for half a year, but when he came back, his wife and son were gone. The two looked at each other, and then Son Goku said, "Then ask Shenlong to revive Gohan and Piccolo." In the cycle of reincarnation, in Hell, Son Gohan and Piccolo were fighting madly. Since being killed by Frisia half a year ago, Son Gohan's character has changed drastically. His obsession turned into entity. He should have been reincarnated, but he resisted the suction of the reincarnation gate of the cycle of reincarnation and escaped into Hell. In today's reincarnation world, dead souls are no longer judged by King Yama to determine whether they go to Hell or Heaven as in the past. After the souls enter the reincarnation world, they are judged by their own set of rules of Heaven and Earth. Those who are innocent will be automatically sucked into the door of rebirth, while those who are guilty will be directly sent to Hell to be punished. After their sins are paid for, they can choose whether to reincarnate or leave Hell and become a member of the reincarnation world. The complete reincarnation world is composed of 3 parts, the reincarnation continent, the heart of reincarnation, and the hell of endless suffering. The Samsara continent is where normal creatures in the Samsara world live. The heart of Samsara is responsible for collecting, judging, and reincarnating souls from all over the world. The Avicii Hell is the place where souls who committed sins during their lifetime and were judged by the heart of Samsara and sent to Hell are punished. The Avicii Hell is divided into 9 levels. Depending on the severity of the sins, the souls after judgment will be divided into different hell spaces. After these few years, the Samsara realm has long been completely controlled by King Yama again, and the fragments of the small Samsara realms in the other 12 universes have also long been integrated into it. Today, King Yama has long recovered the peak strength of a true god, and even among all the true gods in the world, his strength is definitely among the top 5. However, even though King Yama is the lord of the Samsara realm, he cannot control the operation of the Samsara heart. He is only responsible for the management of the Samsara continent and the suppression of the infernal hell. There are very few people like Son Gohan who went to Hell because of his obsession, and this even alarmed the lord of the Samsara world, King Yama. King Yama personally went down to the 3rd level of Hell and was originally planning to suppress Son Gohan and send him to the heart of Samsara. However, after discovering that Son Gohan looked almost exactly like Saitian, he gave up this plan and let him practice in the 3rd level of Hell. There are 9 levels of the Avicii Hell. The deeper you go, the greater the sins people committed in their lifetime. It is said that even the souls of true gods are imprisoned in the 9th level. In the Hell of endless suffering, all ghosts manifest their appearance before birth, but they are not physical bodies, but only spiritual bodies. Therefore, they were unable to resist the managers of Hell. However, with the order of King Yama, Gohan and Piccolo did not suffer the punishment of Hell every day like other people. Half a year passed in a flash. The soul aura of Gohan and Piccolo was many times stronger than when they were alive. After experiencing loss, both of them practiced desperately in Hell, because they knew that as long as they did not reincarnate, as long as Son Goku and the others could defeat Frisia, they would be able to be resurrected again and return to the world. At this moment, the voice of Shenlong came into their minds, "Son Gohan, Pico, the human Son Goku is using Shenlong to revive you. Do you choose to revive or not?" If they were weak souls, Shenlong could ignore their will and resurrect them directly. But now, although Son Gohan and Piccolo are only souls, their combat power is so strong that they have at least reached the late stage of destruction, especially Gohan. In half a year, his soul power has broken through to the peak of destruction. The two of them stopped fighting at the same time and expressed their choice to revive. Later, they discovered that a vortex appeared out of nowhere in the space of the 3rd level of Hell. The two of them stepped directly into the vortex one after another, and when they reappeared, they were already on the square of the Earth's heavenly temple. In the celestial square, the dragon said slowly, "Your wish has been granted. You still have 2 wishes. Tell us what you wish for." At this time, the resurrected Son Gohan and Piccolo opened their eyes from the ice coffin. Son Goku quickly moved over and asked, "Gohan, Piccolo, how do you feel now?" However, when he saw the ice coffins of several other friends, Sun Wukong felt sad. He knew that these friends would never come back. Gohan and Piccolo moved their bodies, and the ice coffins shattered, and a super strong aura came out of their bodies. Not good, Gohan, restrain your breath, or our current bodies won't be able to bear it. Just a moment ago, their bodies were nearly blown up by the surging soul power. They quickly restrained their breath and thus avoided the crisis of explosion. Afterwards, Piccolo placed seals on himself one after another, sealing 90% of his aura, and then added layers of seals to Gohan. But even so, the two men's bodies were stretched to the limit by the breath just now and blood was constantly flowing out. Son Goku and Vegeta were shocked. Piccolo and Gohan's aura was so strong just now, much stronger than before they went to the realm of destruction to train. At this time, the dragon asked in a somewhat annoying tone, I have 2 more wishes. Please tell me your wishes as soon as possible. Sun Wukong and Vegeta looked at each other, and then Vegeta said, the second wish is that the environment of the Earth will be restored to the state it was 6 months ago. The third wish is that the spatial stability of the Earth will gradually increase, so that it will not be destroyed in the future because of our battle with the enemy. Shenron replied, these 2 wishes are no problem. Then, the dragon's eyes glowed red again. The entire Earth, except for the small city where humans now lived, was changing everywhere. Some volcanoes stopped erupting instantly, and the huge craters formed by the battle were quickly filled up. The broken corners of the Earth were quickly restored by the flying debris in the space. Okay, your second wish has been fulfilled. As for the third wish, I will leave a part of my power. In the coming time, the Earth, space, and the Earth itself will become more and more solid. Within a year, even if you hit with all your strength, you can only make a big hole at most. So, goodbye. Son Goku and Vegeta said to Shenlong, thank you, Shenlong. Then the dragon turned into 7 stone balls again and scattered to various corners of the Earth. As Shenlong left, Son Goku walked up to Gohan and Piccolo, Gohan, I'm sorry. Son Gohan knew what Son Goku was talking about, and because Son Goku and the others were not on Earth, Frieza had the opportunity to take advantage of it. Father, I don't blame you. If I have to blame someone, I blame myself for being too weak and failing to protect the Earth. Half a year of living in hell made Son Gohan realize that in the past, he had always lived under the wings of Son Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo and others, and never thought about who would protect his loved ones if Son Goku and others were gone one day. In fact, it is not Goku and the others' fault for what happened half a year ago. If Goku and Vegeta had not gone to destroy the divine realm to practice, they would never have reached their current strength. At that time, facing Frieza, who had practiced to the 5th level of transformation after his resurrection, only delayed their death. Afterwards, they talked about some things that happened in the past 6 months. Son Gohan and the others said that they had known for a long time that Shenlong could not resurrect those who had already been reincarnated. After all, when he was in hell, Gohan had communicated with King Yama and knew some secrets that Goku and the others didn't know, but Gohan didn't intend to tell Goku and Vegeta. When Son Gohan learned that his child was still alive, his mood improved significantly. At the same time, he silently vowed in his heart that he must become stronger in the future. Only in this way could he better protect his family. Among everyone present, Vegeta was probably the most depressed. The Dragon Balls could not revive the reincarnated people, which meant that neither Bulma nor Trunks would ever come back. Kakarot, I'm ready to leave Earth. Sun Wukong knew that there was nothing on Earth now that was worth Vegeta's nostalgia. Vegeta? Do you want to? Vegeta replied, you should know that Frieza won't die so easily. I plan to travel around the universe to see if I can find him. I won't be satisfied until I eliminate Frieza. During the past 6 months, although Sun Bei and the other did not return to the realm of destruction to practice, they have already fully mastered the energy of Super Saiyan Deep Blue and Super Saiyan Purple Red. Now, the 2 of them are much stronger than Frieza, who had undergone the 6th transformation 6 months ago. They have already reached the limit of destruction, and if they were not waiting for the revival of the Dragon Balls on Earth, they would have already headed into the universe to look for Frieza's trace. Son Goku said, then be careful. When you find Frieza, remember to inform me. The Earth still needs me to stay here. I'll leave the task of finding Frieza to you. Please, Vegeta. Vegeta snorted coldly. He had seen the change in Sun Wukong's character over the past 6 months and knew that Sun Wukong was no longer the same Sun Wukong as before. Okay. Then, the Earth is left to you. Vegeta naturally sensed the aura that Son Gohan exuded when he was reborn. Vegeta walked up to Gohan and said, Gohan, practice well. Your talent is not inferior to yours, Kakarot. Don't waste it. Gohan replied, yes, Uncle Vegeta, I will protect the Earth from now on. Vegeta left, and now only Goku and his son, Piccolo, Dende, and Gohan's children are left in the Heavenly Temple. Son Gohan turned to Piccolo and said, Uncle Piccolo, please train me well in the next few days. Piccolo nodded solemnly, okay. Then son Gohan said to son Goku, Father, I'll trouble you to take care of Xiaofang from now on. Don't worry, I've reached my bottle strength recently, so leave the task of taking care of Xiaofang to me. Gohan, you've grown up. At this time, son Gohan was no longer the timid person he used to be. It seemed that what happened half a year ago had made son Gohan grow up completely. The spiritual time chamber deep in the heavens is where Piccolo and son Gohan chose to practice. Both of them are in similar conditions now. Their souls are far more powerful than their bodies, so the top priority is to hone their bodies so that they can exert their strength more quickly. Sun Wukong did not return to the ground, but lived in heaven. After half a year of development, the Earth is gradually getting back on track. In the spiritual time chamber, 8 months later, the aura of Son Gohan and Piccolo has increased many times. Son Goku at this time has undergone a tremendous change compared to before his death. 2 months ago, Son Gohan's long-lost tail grew back, and his potential was stimulated again. After 8 months of training, Gohan's soul had been honed to be strong enough in Hell, and finally broke through again based on Super Saiyan 3. However, unlike Goku and Vegeta, he did not enter the Super God state, but directly entered the ancestral state. At this moment, Gohan had long black hair, and his entire body was covered with red fur except for his head, chest and palms. He had restrained strength, but was full of wildness. Piccolo also underwent a drastic change. Sharp horns similar to those of the Namekian dragon Porunga grew on his shoulders and head. His entire body was dark blue, and he grew a pair of broad bat wings on his back. His muscles became noticeably fuller. Son Gohan's form is the 4th stage of Super Saiyan, while Piccolo's form is the god and demon form of Namek. Gohan, are you ready? Uncle Piccolo, you can attack at any time. Swoosh! Piccolo cut through space and instantly appeared behind Son Gohan. So fast. I didn't expect that my new form could only barely catch a trace of it. Bang! Piccolo punched out. Son Gohan flew out in response, but stopped not far away in an instant. Awesome, Gohan. I didn't expect you could easily block my spatial flash. I'm afraid you're no worse than Son Goku and the others now. Gohan replied, Uncle Piccolo is also very strong. Your speed in this form is too fast. It still doesn't work. Although he's fast, his strength is totally not on the same level as yours. Gohan replied, that's different. When we were in Hell, I believe Uncle Piccolo also knew that we Saiyans are mainly based on strength, while you Namekians are more omnipotent. Piccolo replied, yeah, who would have thought that our two tribes were allies in ancient times, but are you really not going to tell Goku about this? They are getting too close to the angels now, which is not a good thing. Gohan is also very conflicted now. As his son, he knows Son Goku's character very well. Although Son Goku's personality has changed a lot now, it would be difficult for him to draw a clear line between himself and Whis and the others. So far, Whis and the others have not done anything to hurt Son Goku and the others. Let's not talk about it for now. We'll just be more careful when the time comes. Piccolo replied, it's up to you. But I never expected that Sun Tian and the others who came to our time and space before are now at the level of true gods. Compared to them, we are still too weak. Yes, I knew they were very strong at the time, but I didn't expect that they were actually true gods. However, I seem to have fought with Whis in that time and space. We still have to hide our strength after we get out. Piccolo replied, of course, otherwise I'm afraid Whis won't let us go so easily. The two retracted their transformation and returned to their normal form. Sun Tian was unaware of what happened on Earth in the 7th universe. Ever since he learned about what might happen in the future from the Super God Dragon, Sun Tian has been practicing in the 6th universe to destroy the God realm. With the continuous refining of the heart of the universe, Sun Tian's inner world continued to change and gradually evolved into the prototype of the universe. The original continental space became more stable, and one star field after another began to form above the continent. Today's inner world is many times larger than it was a year ago. I didn't expect the evolution of the universe to be so miraculous. It has now completely stabilized at the peak of the true God. It would be more appropriate to call the current inner world the inner universe, right? It's time to go out for a walk. I wonder how Chi Tian and the others are doing in the true demon realm. With Sun Tian's emergence from retreat, Xiangpa, Hit, Tianqiu, Caulifla and others gathered together again. For some reason, Xiangpa felt that Sun Tian was becoming more and more mysterious. "Sir, have you made a breakthrough?" As expected of a god of destruction, although his strength has not reached the level of a true god, his eyesight is quite good. Sun Tian took a look and found that Xiangpa's strength had improved significantly in a year. With Xiangpa's current strength, he is among the top even among the 12 gods of destruction. "It's been a little bit of a breakthrough, it's been over a year, has anything major happened recently?" Xiangpa replied, "Nothing major has happened. Everything is fine in the 6th universe. By the way, sir, a year has passed. I think we should look for the Super DragonBallZ again and free Beerus." Sun Tian replied, "You two brothers have a pretty good relationship." Then Sun Tian looked at Hit and found that Hit's strength had actually increased significantly. Even at the limit of destruction, he could reach the upper middle level. It seemed that in a year, he was not the only one who had become stronger. Seeing that Sun Tian ignored her and only looked at Xiangpa, Hait Tianqiu and the others, Caulifla hurried forward and said, "Chief Master, look at Kyer and me. We have already broken the boundaries." In fact, Sun Tian had already noticed the two of them. "Very good. Even if you look at the 12 universes now, you are one of the strongest. But don't be proud. If you don't become a true god, you still have a long way to go." Caulifla's normal state has actually reached the peak of destruction, while Kale has actually maintained the super form, as if she has completely gotten used to it. Moreover, Sun Tian feels that Kale's strength is several points stronger than Caulifla's, but she is still very shy. Sun Tian did not dwell on their strength. Those who had not reached the realm of true god could not help him much in the later period. With the improvement of strength, Sun Tian's requirements for his subordinates were also constantly increasing. Unknowingly, only those who had reached the limit of destruction could barely enter his eyes. When Sun Tian came out of retreat, he had already taken back the divine consciousness from Bardas. For some reason, Bardas now seemed to have accepted his fate. Every time he looked at Sun Tian, his eyes were strange, even a little like the way Kiki looked at him. Returning to the inner world again, Sun Tian came to the place where Bardas was imprisoned. Bardas looked at Sun Tian with some resentment. "What are you doing here? Do you want to suppress my soul again and use my body to go to the 7th universe?" Thinking about what Sun Tian had done for her over the years, even someone as proud as Bardas had to admit that the scion in front of her was very strong and his growth over the years was far beyond her imagination. "I remember when we first met, he was only at the late stage of true god. If it weren't for the damage to his soul caused by the loss of his clone, it would be hard to say who would win or lose. But what about now? In just a few years, this abominable scion in front of him has reached the peak of true god, and even has his own universe." At first, Bardas might not have known that she was trapped in Sun Tian's internal universe, but as Sun Tian suppressed his soul again and entered his body, she gradually learned some of Sun Tian's privacy. However, Sun Tian was not very sensitive to emotions, so he didn't care much about it. Without saying a word, he directly sealed Bardas's soul, and then a wisp of divine consciousness entered Bardas's body. In the 7th universe, more than a year later, Bardas, Sun Tian, came again with Xiangpa. Since the last use of the Super DragonBallZ, the 7 Super DragonBallZ were scattered to the 6th and 7th universes again. Therefore, if you want to know the exact location of the 7 DragonBallZ, you still have to find Zuno from the 7th universe for help. At the edge of the galaxy, Bardas, Sun Tian, came again with Xiangpa. In front of a god of destruction and an angel in the late stage of true god, Zuno had to tell them the location of the 7 Super DragonBallZ. With the exact location, this time Bardas, Sun Tian, did not go back to the 6th universe to collect first. Instead, he took Xiangpa and found the 3 Super DragonBallZ in the 7th universe first, and then returned to the 6th universe. Not long after, Bardas, Sun Tian, found 2 of the Super DragonBallZ, and the location of the last Super Dragon Ball was unexpectedly in the realm of the God of Destruction in the 7th universe. He had been planning to look for it secretly, but it seemed that he would have to alert Whis and the others. On Earth, ever since Gohan and Piccolo came out of seclusion, their fighting power is no less than that of Goku and the others. Vegeta has been searching everywhere in the universe, but has not found any trace of Frieza. It seems that Frieza has disappeared from the 7th universe. Vegeta thought that since he couldn't find any trace of Frieza, he might as well go and destroy the God realm and consult Whis, so he returned to Earth. When Vegeta returned to Earth again and learned about the strength of Gohan and the others, he was also very surprised. He did not expect that what happened more than half a year ago had completely changed Gohan's character. Now Gohan and Piccolo are no less powerful than him and Kakarot. Moreover, Son Gohan's transformation is completely different from his and Kakarote's styles. It is full of wildness, and in terms of strength, even Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue state is inferior to him. Although Piccolo's new form is not as powerful as him and Kakarote, even they have to be careful when dealing with its strange abilities. When meeting Son Goku again, Vegeta said, "Kakarote, I want to destroy the God Realm again and see if Mr. Whis can find Frieza's whereabouts. I will never feel at ease if I don't find Frieza. The Earth now has two Super Masters, Son Gohan and Piccolo. Even if Frieza attacks, Son Goku and the others believe they can hold on until they return," so he replied, "Okay, in that case, I'll go with you. I always have a feeling that if we don't find Frieza as soon as possible, I'm afraid we won't be his opponent next time we meet." At their current level, they can always have a vague sense of the future. Not only Vegeta, but also Son Goku, Gohan and Piccolo are the same. The destruction of the God Realm was already clearly sensed by Son Goku, who had already broken through the limit of destruction. Vegeta put a hand on Son Goku's shoulder, and then the two disappeared from the earth. When he reappeared, he had already arrived at the realm of destruction. Whis noticed the two people who suddenly appeared. "You haven't been here for half a year. I thought you were going to protect the earth forever." Vegeta stepped forward. "Mr. Whis, we came here to ask you for a favor." Then Vegeta told the story about Frieza. Although Whis didn't like Saiyans, he also disliked the Ice Demon. Whis took out the scepter and chanted a spell, but unfortunately nothing appeared. Is Frieza already dead? That shouldn't be the case. Even if he is dead, there should be a picture, unless... Whis suddenly thought of a problem. The reason why he couldn't detect it was that either Frieza had already broken through to become a true god, or he was interfered by other forces. Son Goku and Vegeta asked, "What's going on, Mr. Whis?" Whis informed the two of the possible situation. Before Sun Wukong and the others could ask more questions, Whis suddenly looked towards the periphery of the God of Destruction's realm. Beerus, who was sleeping, already knew about the destruction of the God realm before Kampa arrived, but in order to prevent Whis and the others from discovering him, he still had to perform the necessary act. The temple was destroyed and an energy ball was shot out. Even though Goku and Vegeta had reached the limit of destruction, they found that it was still not enough in the face of this energy. Suddenly, a shout came from a distance, "Beerus, is this how you entertain guests? It's so noisy." A roar also came from the Temple of Destruction, and then dozens of energy balls shot out. A series of explosions sounded, followed by an angry voice, "Beerus, do you want to start a fight?" In the Temple of Destruction, Beerus seemed to be still asleep, and flew out of the temple twisting and turning, and then countless destructive energies shot into the forest. "Hey, Beerus, you must have done this on purpose." Beerus seemed to have just seen Kampa clearly at this time. "Hey, who is that? Isn't that Kampa? You fat pig, what do you want to do in my 7th universe?" Afterwards, the two started arguing again for no reason, and finally calmed down after being stopped by Whis and Bardoss, Sun Tian. Afterwards, they returned to the Temple of Destruction together. Baduz, Sun Tian, looked at Goku and Vegeta following behind Whis, and felt that the scene seemed familiar, but he didn't think about it too much. Several people sat down, and Kampa and Beerus began their food show again, while Son Goku and Vegeta were already staring at them in amazement. Sun Wukong was shocked and said, "God of Destruction? Mr. Whis, are you saying that the guy who looks like Beerus is also the God of Destruction?" Whis replied, "Yes, but Lord Kampa is not the God of Destruction from the 7th universe. Lord Kampa is the God of Destruction from the 6th universe." Vegeta asked, "What universe 6? Universe 7? Sun Wukong was also surprised. Before this, the two of them didn't know much about the universe. After Whis' explanation, they realized that this world was not the only universe they lived in. There were 11 universes outside the universe they lived in. On the other side, Kampa and Beerus started fighting again over food. The reason was quite simple. Beerus took out the fast food he brought back from Earth and slapped Kampa in the face, making Kampa feel very embarrassed. "Bardoss, there should be an Earth in our 6th universe, right? Find it out for me right now." Bardoss, Sun Tian, had already learned how to use the scepter, but after some operation, he was shocked to find that the Earth in the 6th universe had already been destroyed by war and civilization. Now the Earth was just a dead planet with no life. Then Kampa took the opportunity to tell Beerus about the Super DragonBallZ and expressed his hope to have an inter-universe battle with Beerus. It has to be said that Kampa and Beerus are both good at acting. Something that had already been determined was forcibly turned into a competition to decide the ownership of the Earth in the 7th universe through acting. Beerus said, "A competition? Son Goku, Vegeta, this is a contest between two universes, you two should also participate. If it were in the past, with Goku's personality, he would have jumped for joy a long time ago, but after the Frieza incident half a year ago, Goku's personality has changed. Lord Beerus, Vegeta and I are still searching for Frieza, so I'm afraid we can't participate in your fight. Beerus suddenly shouted, no, you two are the only good ones in Universe 7 right now, and you always want to compete with strong people. This time is a good opportunity to win glory for Universe 7. Son Goku was a little embarrassed, but when he saw Beerus' gaze, he swallowed the words of refusal. It turned out that just now, the two of them suddenly discovered that Beerus actually wanted to kill them. If they did not agree, they would probably face Beerus' wrath immediately. Thinking that Gohan and the others were now in charge of the Earth, there would be no problems, so the two agreed. However, according to the agreement between Beerus and Kampa, 5 people from each universe will participate in the competition. In addition to Son Goku and Vegeta, there are still 3 places to be filled in the 7th universe. In the end, Whis personally took action and asked the Big God Empire in the Milky Way star field to participate in the competition. Since there were already Son Wukong and Vegeta on Earth, they did not let other strong men on Earth participate. Instead, they fought 2 strong men in the late stage of destruction in other star fields. One was a blue-skinned alien named Regis, and the other was an alien with a rhino horn on his head named Frol. After the 2 parties reached an agreement, they each prepared to go. As a condition, the Super Dragon Balls scattered in the world of the God of Destruction were naturally taken away by Bardoss, Sun Tian. The battle between the 2 universes will take place in 5 days. Bardoss, Sun Tian, takes Xiangpa to collect the 3 Dragon Balls of the 6th universe within 3 days, and then finds the 7th Dragon Ball between the 2 universes. In addition to Hit, Caulifla, and Kale, the contestants from the 6th universe also randomly found 2 strong men. One is Wataimajeta, a metal man from the lower star field, whose combat power is in the late stage of destruction, and the other is a monster bear named Bottomo, who has super defense and can directly transfer the opponent's attack to the other dimension space, also in the late stage of destruction. On an unnamed star between the 2 universes, Bados, Sun Tian, had already set up the competition arena in advance, and then led the contestants to wait for the arrival of the 7th universe. In the audience, Xiangpa was making tactical arrangements. Hit, this time the finale is handed over to you. There are 2 people in the 7th universe who need to be paid attention to. One is Son Goku, a scion who looks very similar to you, and the other is Vegeta, who is also a scion. Hit had been with Sun Tian and the others for the past 2 years, so he naturally learned a lot. He was also very strong. Although he was not as strong as Xiangpa, the god of destruction, he was not weak either. Master Xiangpa, don't worry. I just don't know what you are thinking. Why did you arrange such a competition? The contest between the 2 universes was naturally Sun Tian's order. As for why, even Xiangpa was not very clear. After seeing Goku and Vegeta in the world of destruction, Bardoss, Sun Tian, had something in mind. Although he didn't know why Whis could tolerate the existence of Goku and Vegeta, he knew that Whis must have some plan in mind for keeping the 2 of them. So Kampa and Beerus just acted out a play, betting on the Super Dragon Balls and the ownership of the Earth in Universe 7, and then they would see what Whis really thinks. 6 Super Dragon Balls surround the nameless star, emitting a charming halo, but the 7th Dragon Ball did not appear here. Instead, it was placed by Sun Tian into the universe within his body. Sun Tian's arrangement was very simple. After the game, he would let Xiangpa and Bardoss, Sun Tian, bring Whis into Sun Tian's inner universe on the pretext of tracking the 7th Dragon Ball. By then, when he arrives at Sun Tian's territory, even if Ves has the cultivation level of the late-stage true god, he will just have to let him do what he wants. If he is in the outside world, with Ves's ability, who knows if it will attract the attention of the High Priest or the Omni King. Sun Tian doesn't want to take the risk before he is strong enough to fight against these super bosses. 5 days passed in a flash. Whis used the Cosmic Cube to lead Beerus, Son Goku, Vegeta, Big Dipper, Regis, and Fleur to directly penetrate the cosmic barrier of the 7th universe and soon arrived at the nameless planet. Bardoss, Sun Tian, Xiangpa, Hit, Caulifla, Kale, Megiddo, and Bottomo had been waiting for a long time. Xiangpa flew forward arrogantly, ha 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 ha, Beerus, are you ready to admit defeat? Don't blame me for bullying you. If you lose, the Earth in your universe will be mine. Shut up. You took my wishing ball from the 7th universe without permission, but I haven't gotten in trouble with you yet. It's still unclear who will win or lose. Son Goku and Vegeta looked at the 6 Super Dragon Balls surrounding them. Compared with the Dragon Balls they had seen before, these were really too big. Each one was dozens of times the size of the Earth. If they made a wish with this set of Dragon Balls, they wondered if they could resurrect their reincarnated relatives. The two looked at each other and saw hope in each other's eyes, but they knew that under the noses of the two archangels and the two gods of destruction, there was no possibility for them to use the Dragon Balls. The quarrel between the two gods of destruction was quickly stopped by Whis and Bardas, Sun Tian, and the rules of the competition were also quickly formulated. One person defended the ring and the other challenged. If the challenge was successful, the one who took over the defense would become the champion. The other side would then send out the next lower player to challenge until both sides were defeated. The competition arena had already been set up. It was a square arena with a length and width of 1,000 meters. The winner was determined by one side admitting defeat or being knocked out of the ring. It was also stipulated that killing was not allowed during the competition. After letting everyone understand the rules, Xianpa said, "Beerus, if there is no problem, then send the players to the field." "Well, Frol, you go first." Then, a cosmic being with a rhino horn on his head walked out from the camp of the 7th universe, and Xianpa sent out the metal man Magida. Both sides were powerful warriors in the late stage of destruction. After a fierce battle, Frol from the 7th universe was finally knocked out of the ring by Magida's lava impact. "Hahaha, Beerus, your Universe 7 is indeed no match for our Universe 6. Good job, Magedo." Beerus was so angry that his teeth itched. "Asshole, Xianpa, you just won one game by luck, why are you so arrogant? You play the next game, Regus." The fighting power of Regus and Fleur is almost the same, and he is also a powerful warrior in the late stage of destruction. Originally, like Fleur, they were the overlords of several star fields in the 7th universe. As a result, Whis and Beerus came to them and forced them to become the representatives of the 7th universe in a short time. Regus came on the court quickly. Unlike Frol, Regus launched a fierce attack on Magida right after coming on the court. Unfortunately, as a metal man, Magida's defense was very strong. Even though Regus' combat power was much higher than Magida's, it was still difficult to break through Magida's defense. "Damn it, I didn't expect your pile of scrap metal to have such strong defense." Scrap metal? After hearing what Regus said, Magida's fragile heart, which was a metal man, was hit by tens of thousands of critical points, and he looked like he was crying. As a hegemon in the universe, Regus naturally felt the changes in Magida, but he did not expect that the strong man opposite him, whose combat power was not much weaker than his, had such a fragile mind. Under his invincible metal body, he actually had a heart of glass. Beerus on the stage would naturally not miss the opportunity to strike back at Kampa. "Kampa, you people in the universe are no good. Your hearts are so fragile. Ha ha ha." Even Xianpa himself did not expect that Mageda, who was in the late stage of destruction, would become like this because of a word from the opponent. He shouted to the field, "Magajeta, what are you doing? Don't forget your mission because of a few words from the opponent." Bardas, Sun Tian, stopped him and said, "Magada is a special metal. Although it is naturally powerful, its spirit is actually very fragile. Lord Xianpa, don't worry, they have already lost a game." Sure enough, Reg seized the opportunity, verbally attacked, and with his own strong strength, he quickly knocked Magida out of the ring and won the game for the 7th universe. Mageda returned to the audience seat sadly, and Berdamo came forward to comfort him. He never expected that this bear was actually a good friend of Mageda. Regus became the champion, and Xianpa had to send another person to challenge. "Bottomo, the next round is up to you. You must knock that guy off the ring for me." Bottomo Bear quickly came to the ring, punching his chest with his fists, and looking at Regus opposite with his two small eyes. Regus was speechless. Is there no normal person in your Universe 6? First a metal robot, and now a bear. Bottomo was very angry. It was this little guy in front of him who caused his friend to suffer mental trauma. "Come on, little guy. Let me show you how powerful your Uncle Bear is." Regus rushed up at an extremely fast speed, but Bottomo didn't even move. Soon, Regus's heavy punch hit Bottomo's body directly. What? How is this possible? There was no damage at all, and even Bottom did not move at all, as if his attack did not hit the opponent. Well, continue. Regus quickly flipped back and attacked again, hitting Bottomo with dozens of punches, but Bottomo's body just emitted some halos, and the force of the punches was completely diverted. Regus was stunned. How could he fight? No matter what attack he made, he couldn't hurt the opponent. Bottomo looked at him with a mocking look on his face. He stretched out a hand and swung it at Regus. Regus was still in a trance and was hit directly. However, his strength was not very good, and he looked like he was in the late stage of destruction. Although Regis was knocked away, he did not suffer any substantial damage. Damn it, what kind of freak is this? My attacks have absolutely no effect. In that case, let me try an energy attack. Regis quickly retreated several hundred meters away, and a wave of energy began to gather with Regis's gestures. Big stupid bear, I don't believe that you can dissolve my energy cannon. Take my move. Thunder Flame Impact Cannon. I saw a powerful shock wave, surrounded by lightning and covered with a layer of red flames, which made the air make a sizzling sound, and it was whistling towards bottom. Badimo's round body suddenly swelled up by 2 circles. The shock wave arrived in an instant and directly hit Badimo's body. Badimo's entire stomach was hit by the shock wave and sank in, but then it bounced back and shot towards Badimo instead. However, Badimo was also knocked away by this energy and fell out of the field. Regis easily dodged the rebounding shock wave and won another game for the 7th universe. Beerus shouted on the stage, "Ha ha ha ha, good job, Regis, from now on I will let you rule the star regions around you." And Badimo was not injured, but just a little confused. It was not his fault. After all, although Badimo was very capable, he was far inferior in attack. Xiangpa looked helpless, as he had not expected that his side would suffer such a series of defeats. Xiangpa looked at the remaining 3 people on his side. Needless to say, it would definitely be the finale, so he could only send Caulifla or Kale to play. When they were considering who to choose, Caulifla called out, "Xiao Jin, Xiao Xiong, watch me avenge you." Little Gold. Little Bear. Is this referring to us? Megiddo and Badimo were stunned. They looked at Caulifla, meaning when did they become Little Gold and Little Bear? Caulifla put her hands on her hips, what are you looking at? It's you too, isn't it? A metal life and a big stupid bear. Without waiting for Xiangpa to speak, Caulifla left the audience directly, flew onto the stage, and said arrogantly, "Hey, that guy from the 7th universe actually bullied our little Jean until he cried, and also knocked little Xiong off the stage. Do you want to get off by yourself or let me knock you off the stage?" Regis was the overlord of several star regions, so how could he bear to see that the person in front of him was just a little girl of 16 or 17? Whose family are you from? Didn't your parents teach you respect and inferiority? What kind of character is Caulifla? How could she possibly stand Regis's words? Who do you think you are? How dare you say bad things about my cheap master? You're courting death. A powerful aura emanated from Caulifla's body, and Regs felt like he was facing a formidable enemy. How is that possible? Regis had not expected that such a powerful strength was hidden in the body of a little girl of 16 or 17 years old. She was completely on a different level than Megiddo and Badimo who had just fought. Ha ha ha. Are you scared by me and dare not do anything? It's too late. You actually dared to speak ill of my cheap master. I will teach you a lesson. As soon as she finished speaking, Caulifla attacked Regis directly, with such a fast speed that Regis didn't even have time to react before he was constantly suppressed by Caulifla. In just a short moment, he was hit dozens of times. If Caulifla hadn't deliberately wanted to show off, she would have knocked Regis out of the field in an instant. In the audience, Vegeta and Son Goku looked at each other, Scion. This aura is definitely the aura of us Scions. Sun Wukong replied, it is indeed the Scions. I didn't expect that in addition to our 7th universe, there are also Scions in the 6th universe. And they are very strong. Although they are not as strong as us, they are much stronger than the Scions in our universe. Of course, when Sun Wukong said this he was subconsciously excluding them. If compared with him and Vegeta, he was still not as good as them. Not only Sun Wukong, but Whis also discovered it, sister, are all the Scions in your universe so strong? Why not? Bardos, Sun Tian, naturally knew what Weiss meant. He wanted to know why he was not eliminated. After all, the conflict between the two races had existed since ancient times. Whis, these 2 little girls are my disciples. The other Scions in our universe are not as strong as them. The strongest is only in the early to middle stage of the Emperor. Whis looked at his sister in surprise. He didn't expect that his sister would be willing to teach 2 Scions. However, when he thought about the fact that he also taught Goku and Vegeta, he thought that his sister had the same idea as him. Son Goku and Vegeta couldn't help but look at another Scion in the audience. They hadn't noticed it before, but now they realized that the person called Kale was in the Super Saiyan state after transformation. Although the color of his hair was different from the golden color after their previous transformation, it was grass green. But after careful sensing, they found that the hidden power was even more terrifying than that of the scion named Caulifla on the ring. On the ring, Regs was bullied by Caulifla until he lost his temper. One was in the late stage of destruction, and the other was at the peak of destruction. They were completely not in the same weight class. Caulifla felt that there was no point in fighting any further, so she swept Regs out of the ring with an energy wave. At this point, the sixth universe is once again in the lead, but the next players to compete will all be heavyweights. Beerus looked at the remaining three people, Big Gun, Son Goku, and Vegeta, who among you three will go up. Among the three, Beerus is the strongest. Even Beerus himself feels that he must at least use 80% of his strength to win. Goku and Vegeta are not much different, but either of them will win if they face Caulifla. If it were in the past, with Big Dipper's strength, he would have been eliminated by Whis and Beerus long ago, but after the demonic empire disappeared, Whis allowed Big Dipper to exist. He also wanted to see whether the people of the demonic empire would conflict with Big Dipper if they returned. Sun Wukong stood up and said to Beerus, "Lord Beerus, since the opponent is a scion, I will go first." Beerus nodded, and then Goku flew to the ring. Caulifla looked at Goku and was a little surprised. "Uncle, it's your turn so soon." Caulifla was quite familiar with the face of Sun Wukong, but she became inexplicably excited at the thought of fighting with this man who looked like her master. "Hello, are you a scion too?" Caulifla replied, "Yes, uncle, come on, let's see who is stronger, the scions from your universe or the scions from our universe. Come on. Let me see your strength." Both of them are in normal state, but their combat power has broken the peak limit. Caulifla's combat power is close to 120 billion, while Son Goku's combat power is more than 130 billion. "Okay, uncle, you have to be careful." As soon as the words fell, the two disappeared from the ring, and when they reappeared, they were already in midair. Boom! A quick punch was exchanged, and the entire ring was cracked by the impact. The two sides fought back and forth, constantly attacking above the ring, and noises continued to be heard in the sky. Although Xianpa knew that the scion who looked like Sun Tian would be very strong, he did not expect him to be so strong. Caulifla did not even have any advantage over Son Goku. Caulifla was knocked to the ring by Sun Wukong, and the entire ring was destroyed. "Come out, that attack just now won't have any effect on you." Although Sun Wukong's personality has changed a lot after what happened more than half a year ago, he still gets excited when facing a strong person. Bang! In the pit, Caulifla soared into the sky. "So strong, uncle. But I have to be serious next time." Caulifla roared, and her entire body began to change. At some point, Caulifla actually grew a tail that had long since degenerated. Her entire body, except for her head, chest, and palms, was covered with a layer of red fur. Her entire face became extremely strong. Unlike Sun Wukong and the others' transformations, where their power was completely restrained, Caulifla's power was violent and full of wildness. Her black hair fell behind her, giving her a different kind of wild beauty. "How's it going, uncle? My condition is something that even my cheap master has never seen before." "Ha, get ready to admit defeat." Caulifla soared into the sky, and just as Sun Wukong reacted, he was hit by a huge force and was knocked hundreds of meters away. "So strong. A little weaker than my purple-red super god state, but I'm still no match for him now." Feeling the pain between his hands, Sun Wukong thought to himself. What kind of form is this? This power definitely has the limit of destruction. Everyone on the ring was shocked. Whis did the same, atavism form. Super Saiyan 4. Vegeta thought to himself, Super Saiyan 4, just like Gohan. I didn't expect this girl to have reached it at such a young age. She's still not as good as Gohan, but she's not weak either. Whis thought Vegeta didn't know, so he explained, yes, compared to your super god state. Super Saiyan 4 is a pure life form sublimation, the power is more violent, but at the same time the endurance is also longer. If you want, this state can even exist as a normal state. Of course Vegeta knows this form, after all, he knows it for lunch, and it's even stronger. Caulifla shouted arrogantly, "This power is too strong, uncle, are you ready?" At the same time, he did not forget to look at Bados, Sun Tian, but unfortunately Bados, Sun Tian, did not seem to care much.